my beautiful model is going to show you, we had to stop the live to go see Northern Lights. And it was so worth it. So gorgeous. Okay, share. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, even just seeing that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I got some good ones. I'll definitely go through later. They're just so pretty. Okay, so first let's cleanse these bad girls. So if you guys were in earlier, we actually did a full overlay on these nails, and as well, there was a couple areas that we repaired. I see the hearts. Thank you so very much. And then your thumb. Okay, so show me the problem children and we will go from there.
I think this one needs to get a little thicker.
Little thickums. And is there any other ones on this hand?
I can't tell if anything I did like, no, that one looks good. This one might have a little tiny dip, but I feel like it's not as pronounced as the one.
That one?
That one you fixed, but it did have that dip. I feel like this is just thin. And this is a nail that already had the break.
The break, so we don't want,
yeah.
Okay. So let's start off with this one here. After all of that, we just
continue podcasting.
Yes, go for that, honey.
I always have been, so it wasn't a huge thing for me, but I get it.
And then just turn it down just a couple notches.
Like,
Are you okay?
It's pretty much over in wanting to.
Oh, that done did all the notches. I'll hold this, and then you can press it. There we
so
go.
I was kind of hanging around people who had similar motivations and similar goals. But if I'd been hanging out with people partying every weekend, I totally would have been like.
The thing just tried to just leave the chat.
It's not about what happens to you.
Bye.
I've always thought that.
I love the wayward squirt there. It's just like everything. Okay, so where's the other guy?
On this end?
Yeah, I'm just gonna buff it just so it's ready.
Was it? I don't remember. I think this one still needed to be shaped down a little bit, and then I think it might be a little
To which way?
So I was looking
Let me just see both of them.
I think it's going this way just slightly.
Okay, let's just have it over a little bit.
Because a lot of things happen that you would say were triggers. Because at the end of the day, we sort of want to ask ourselves, what's the motive, right? Beans, motive, opportunity. We know she had the beans. We know she had the opportunity.
No. I encourage.
There's oftentimes where she will defend herself later and she'll say, if I didn't want a kid, I would have just given her to my parents and let them raise her. That's what they wanted anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. And, there's a lot more to cover, but it's one of those things where I'm looking at it, Kaylee's mom, right? It's not unsolved as far as that's concerned. We know that she's deceased. It's a matter of whether you believe, one, the intent behind this,
Could I see both your fingies?
Intention of Kaylee, or, I'm sure we'll cover, if someone else had done it, without Casey's knowledge. But then there's also a real scenario where
Okay, so have a look at that and let me know if you still want me to go more over.
It's so hard to tell sometimes. Just gotta look at the bone of it and then I feel like just the point, it feels like maybe it's just my finger, I don't know.
No. Okay, so loosen it.
The point, I feel like it's just slightly off.
Death was the result of Casey's poor character. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get back as far as to keep my mindset open to both possibilities.
It's so tough because if you had asked me this question 2 years ago, without a doubt, I would have come back and said, she killed her intentionally. I have no doubt she killed her, and that's the end of the story. But I just posted something on Twitter a couple of days ago where I was like, in the past couple of years, I've grown. And I've become much more open-minded, and I've become so much less judgmental than I used to be. And in a way, that's great, right? That's growth, but it also makes life much harder because it was easier to look at the world and life and situations black and white. Like it's wrong or it's right, that's it. And that's so much easier than looking at the intricate details, like the little things, the context that makes someone something who they are, what it is. And now I'm also sitting here thinking, what the hell happened, right? It's not as easy as just saying, oh, clearly Casey Anthony.
I don't want to file too much and then lose all your length.
That's it. That's all that happened. It's clearly
I think
not
that
what
looks
happened.
good.
Other
And then-
things are at play here. And
Yes, the underside. Let's do that. I wanted to disinfect this.
next
It's
part,
been in for more than
thinking,
enough.
what are those other things at play? What are those other factors that made this so much more complicated and less fun to play?
If you take Casey's name
Okay, now I
off,
want to be very careful here. So let me know how it feels.
which has a lot of hate attached to it, right?
Do you want me to like pinch the skin back?
Yes,
a bit?
please. That will help.
People out there that would say, is this person capable of putting their child in a situation that was dangerous or resulted in their death? Yes, absolutely possible. This type of person who was more concerned about herself than her child could have left her child in a very dangerous situation where she could have been.
Hey, baby. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so actually I'm going to do it because I have to get the angle here.
That's the thing that
And
there's
I
a
won't
lot
be
of
able to
people out
see
there
it.
who think this was intentional.
Okay,
Now, I
lower a
think
little bit.
I'm still open to it too.
I'm still open to it,
I know there are things that I read about court documents that show the possibility of intent, and we're gonna get there, and that's why I'm saying I'm open to both, but so far, we're about almost 4 hours in to this, right? And I can see a real scenario where it was purely just negligence, and what happened afterwards to,
He's happy it
as
doesn't
far
matter.
as the disclosure of what happened to Kaylee and how it was covered up, if that were the case, that's a whole different ballgame. But we'll compartmentalize it, break it down, like how do we think she died, and then obviously based on that we can start to develop our opinions as far as what transpired after she was dead.
Yeah, and I mean, I think even 2 years ago when I did this case on YouTube, I think I did
love
the same
that.
thing.
How does that
I
feel?
think Casey was
Is that a bit better?
responsible, and I feel like it may have been
I don't want to burn you.
but like
Yeah,
you
it's
said,
gone. The little lippy edge that's there
Right?
from the
accidental, and that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, even
Yeah, that
maybe
feels
Casey
really nice in there. I just wanted to make sure that it also felt good for you because
to look at
you are the most important person.
knowing she had other options.
It's
give her
how it
child
feels
to
for
her
you.
parents who clearly wanted to raise her, knowing she had other options, that would be the choice she
Okay,
made.
so this was,
So
did you
hard
want,
to
is it
wrap my
this
head
the bulk or the other finger? No, it's the other finger bulk, right?
It's not gonna work on myself.
Let me switch these out and I'm actually going to give you a new sanding band here.
YouTube, tell us in the comments if you're listening on audio. Go ahead and pop a 5-star review.
Ooh, we will put a 5-star review, Miss Stephanie.
I like all the videos.
I was like, that's not a question.
Make sure I give them all the thumbs
A
up.
little bit more disparity in my opinions and theirs on this one than there usually is. So I'm really interested to hear.
Just grabbing sand and band here.
Completely different angle.
Fresh girl.
Twitter, Instagram, it's at Crime Weekly Podcast.
Be a good person and actually wear my mask.
Crime Weekly Pod, but we do have a website too, crimeweeklypodcast.com.
Which you won't be able to weigh in
And
anymore.
pitch, and we're good. Okay, let's get that bulky girl. So if I can have you, yes.
Or you can just email us at contact@crimeweeklypodcast.com. Yes!
Just to be transparent, we're better off commenting on posts or something like that because we get a million emails. And I don't want to lie to you and say that we're checking every email in that sense. Check a lot of them for work. We will get to them eventually. But you're going to get more of an immediate response from us in the comment section on YouTube and on the posts. I usually post every week when we put up a new episode.
One thing when I first started doing nails is I put this up way too high, and then when I was trying to take away the bulk, I took everything away, and I was just like, no, like all of that work. So then I figured out the perfect speed to like not give burns, but at the same time you can remove enough product, but it's more of like a buff than a complete takedown. That's also why I didn't take a crazy amount, because it's one of those things too. I don't want to take too much and then So we can measure this in parts. We have 3 parts.
Hello everyone, this is a special message for our YouTube viewers, so if you're listening on audio, if you did listen on audio, you will not hear this. This is just for YouTube viewers. We've
What do you
actually
think? Do you still
struggled
want
pretty
more?
hard with demonetization
No, that's
on our
perfect.
YouTube
Okay.
channel.
Now it's like
I love that. I love the sound of that.
the only one now.
So we
is
gotta add
a little more
product onto her,
thickness.
right?
Make
Feels
sure
like
it's
this for
a little
sometimes YouTube's
thicker.
really cracking down
so
on
it doesn't bite.
monetization in the true crime space.
Also, it looks a little shorter, but I feel like it's not enough to be
This past couple
noticeable.
of weeks. Now, obviously, it is about making money off of this content to some extent because this is what we do for a living. It's also a fact that when you're demonetized, your videos are suppressed by the YouTube algorithm. They don't show up in
That's
other
true.
creators recommended. They won't show up when people are actively searching for true crime content. And that is the bigger issue when it comes to growing this channel, having our voices go out to more people, which is ultimately what we want. We're trying to tell the stories of these victims because they aren't here to tell them themselves, and we want those stories to be heard by as many people as possible. We want them to be able to take away whatever tools, tricks, techniques that we come upon to protect yourselves. But YouTube is making that very difficult right now. We don't know why, but at the end of the day, we need to find something more long-term and more sustainable to make sure that even if YouTube tomorrow says, Crime Weekly, you're never going to be monetized again, we have a way to continue bringing you this content. And as a result,
Yeah, that's what I heard about a lot of true crime stuff getting demonetized, and because I did originally want to do more true crime things, and I was just like, huh. So that's really interesting. But right now, as we're on the road to monetization, what's the hurt, right?
Sometimes I think it's issues with like trigger warnings and sensitive information and stuff like that.
We have a 1-level tier right
Oh,
now.
for sure.
So you can go to
And
patreon.com.
just it's a touchy subject, and a lot of people, feel uncomfortable about it.
$3.99. What that's going to do is you'll get a
But
link
for
at the
me,
top
it's
of
just like with any media, like you don't consume it if it's something that makes you uncomfortable.
You'll be able to watch the
You have the power not to click things.
exactly what everyone else is going to get, but it'll be ad-free.
Absolutely, and for now, that's what we can do. Later on,
If things don't have warnings, that's another animal. But when you're saying not for kids, this is, 18 plus.
My YouTube channel and Derek with his private investigation firm. So we have all of those things that are kind of keeping us running behind the scenes. But later down the line, when things slow down a little bit, hopefully within the first couple of months of 2020, we'll talk about adding different tiers, lives, adding content, things like that. But right now, we just want to stay afloat so that we can focus on making the content and not focus on the administrative behind the scenes stuff like why is YouTube demonetizing every video we post and suppressing it from larger audiences. We don't want to think about that. We don't want to worry about it and be stressed about it. So at this point, this is what we're doing for a short-term solution. Hopefully it's something that will turn into a better long-term relationship for us and you guys all together, all of us together. We will get a Discord server, stuff like that. We want to put stuff in the works, but right now this is what we have to do so that we can
Remind me, I gotta quickly disinfect that tip.
we really appreciate anybody who decides to become a patron.
Got
and who goes
alcohol. I don't want
right now, we still
alcohol.
appreciate you. Keep watching the videos. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about YouTube. Don't worry about what YouTube's doing. Don't say, oh, I don't want to watch this because YouTube's not paying them, or that we would love you for that. Yeah, we love you for that. That's not your problem.
Yeah, and the ambidextrous life is real.
To donate or join Patreon or do anything, it's just an option that we have.
I will use this for something else. We are not wasting that.
So dependent, like on YouTube.
See, it's so crazy. It starts off like this, and then all of a sudden we have it evaporating, and you get the oil, and it's like, what? Where did all that come from?
Because we were hoping that there was going to
But that's why I'm being very cognizant, like that I'm not touching the actual product, but anything on your skin.
that episode, which you've already seen as well, coming out 2 days later. So for people who are just like, hey, listen, I don't want to deal with the ups and downs of YouTube.
I don't know. It also feels cool and nice. I love a little cleanup movement.
Episode, it's ad-free.
Okay,
It'll
let's
never be
disinfect
because
that.
whether it's approved or not, the videos are never going to be done. We're just waiting on YouTube. So if you're in a position where you can do it, you can support the channel, great. If it's
Let's
not,
have you tip that over for a second.
we're going to keep putting it out to everybody for sure.
Thank you guys so much for understanding and listening and being with us what every single day brings. But let's get to our regularly scheduled.
So excited to get into the steps.
This episode, I think it's going to be more about Randy than Henry.
Oh, heavens. I'm excited.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Crime Weekly. I'm Stephanie Harlan.
And turn back.
So today is part 3 of the Kaylee Anthony series, and I know before this we recorded a little message for our YouTube viewers. Do you have anything to say before we dive right in?
Yeah, all I would say is if you're listening to this, it's Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas. Watch it on YouTube. It's a few days after Christmas, so I hope you got what you were looking for from us. If you're watching on YouTube, we have this little thing for this segment. All we'll say is, regardless of what's going on, we're happy, we're healthy, and that's all you can ask for.
Turn again.
This year, brought for us. Looking forward to the future.
And is that a Dunkin' Donuts shirt you're wearing?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it says jingle, 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 but it's definitely Dunkin' Donuts colors, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's also Christmas.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, pop that in.
It's still Dunkin' Donuts colors. It looks like a Dunkin' Donuts
Can pop that in for a
Christmas.
second?
Sure, it's not. Plug in it.
And then if I have to put a teeny tiny bit, I just don't want it to fall too much.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's,
And then is there anything else that we wanted to perfect before we go in for the...
And the coffee spirit.
I'm riding because
I don't
next
think
week
so.
it's gonna go down.
I don't think so.
I know it feels like
I am smiling ear to ear.
And they still have more to decorate, but
And then we're still feeling like a little abstract moment here
I got pushed
Yeah,
on this one. And then all the rest, Frenchies.
Yeah, we might as well try that out, and then I feel like we can get creative, or you can get creative with
The foils.
the foils,
Inside the house,
the
outside the house.
chromes, and those sparkly polishes. I feel like we could like do
And
lines on.
do you... Oh, yeah. Do you mind if the whole thing has that light chrome on it? Or do you only want it isolated to the French parts?
Especially then, like, then after New Year's,
I didn't think about that. See, now
by mid-Jan, it's got
my tree is like a skeleton by the
we
time
could
I
try
take
like
all
doing
the leaves.
the rest where it's just on the French, and then maybe like one
Yeah.
have it fully chromed out.
That's not a problem. I was just wondering. We need to know what your vibe is.
The only house left. I want everybody to jump on Florida.
Junker.
Maybe even the accent nail, the one that's gonna have an abstract
Mm.
line, would be like all chromed out.
Because, like, it will be like a soft iridescent, so basically it will make it pearl, but it's see-through. So it's not going to add, like, it's not like the silver chrome or anything like that that's very, like, bright.
Street upstairs and downstairs. So yeah, you're right. No bougie is that. I love Christmas, man. What do you want?
I love Christmas.
Sticking out.
Get 2 Christmas trees.
I have like little Christmas trees, so like, I mean, look at that tree. Come on,
Yeah,
everyone's jealous of that right there.
It's so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I actually really like the Christmas tree. It's definitely approved.
Definitely an upgrade from the little tree. So,
She looks quite... No! She looks quite nice.
Space is just so
Even though I've dropped all my nice brushes.
buffer before jumping into that dark place, but
Have a look at her.
alright, so we did talk
And then I'm going to give her a slight buff.
episode.
Can pop her in the cooker. Okay, let me try to see everything that just fell there. Okay, so it's there, and there.
A lot of time out with friends, she's going to theme parties, cooking into toilets, and all that good
Lovely.
stuff. But she
Jeez.
was also
Yeah, she's just
spending
partying,
this
partying,
period
partying.
with her friend, Amy Kazinga. And she actually told the story to a lot of different people that basically Casey and Amy were going to live together. And the place that they were going to occupy was the home of Casey's parents.
Yeah, this really happened. It's getting, she told this friend that like her parents were moving out and that they're both gonna live in their house. So the friend like left her place of living, got ready to move, and showed up at the house, and then the parents were like,
What are you doing
"What
here?
are you doing?" And she's like, "What? I'm ready to move in. You guys are not supposed to be here," type thing.
Wow.
Amy also said that Casey was getting annoyed because she was having
I'll have to swap out with you just so I can grab those that fell.
Okay.
The
The
darn brushes.
causing Casey's frustration and increase. And this is important because June of 2008 is when Casey's daughter Kaylee was missing. Now Casey had told Amy that George and Cindy were leaving the house, that they were moving out, and they were going to sign the house over to Casey, and then Casey and Amy were going to move into the house. And apparently this was happening really soon. Like Casey had Amy under the impression that they were moving in
can come back, lovely.
When Amy's mail started showing up in their mailbox, but she legitimately thought that Anthony's were moving out and we're just going to sign the house over to Casey. And then Casey and Amy were going to live there together.
Nice parents.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
Why do I have a feeling this is not going to end up working out well for me?
It doesn't end up working out for anyone who knows Casey. I feel terrible for all of her friends because all she does is lie.
Just got me some Brita water.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were all out.
And I want to
I saw the opportunity.
I would have made that. I'm a huge
So on June 3rd,
watch a
Casey
feed.
Which one are we doing?
The Pinky.
Cindy out to
Buffing.
The Pinky girl.
essentials for their new home for cheap. It was in the Scholar store across from the place where she was apparently having dinner.
I blew him a kiss on the
Hi, handsome.
He's just posing up on the couch.
Oh, were you loving on Uncle? Giving all the
This
loves.
was like June 4th, and she says we're gonna be roomies in another week. She thought
You can
that
share everything
they were
under
gonna be moving
code
into this
there.
house. They didn't.
Right?
And then Casey goes on to
It's
say,
looking good.
by the end of November,
Looking good,
just
bud.
as I can't believe
Everything's
it.
good, Kovu?
I've always been confused about this. But Casey says it'll be
Hey,
just
hey,
us
hey.
for us.
Stop that.
It's unclear whether
Trying to
she's
go under the
moving
bed,
up.
trying to find toys.
Like, did she just plan to live with Amy in this house? Was Amy gonna go with George and Cindy? Was Casey planning to kill her parents to get their house? Like, what is the plan here? Because
It's true.
turns out Cindy and George are never considering leaving their house. Of course, I
Kovu.
think at this point they have a second
Hey,
mortgage on
stop.
their house because of
He's like moving like a
they're
human.
definitely not going to move out.
You're going too far there, buddy.
The house. So what was Casey's end game? Of all the lies she tells, this one I can never really figure out.
So wait, you trying to tell me that Casey was
Yeah, but it's a lie that has no. I don't understand the root of it. I don't understand like why. Why the lie? Is
It's
it
true.
a lie just to lie? Because
That's-
that's scary.
that's weird, so good liars.
I was about to say she's like a pathological liar at this point.
Part of the reason you're so
Okay, so now we're gonna do the show of let me see the thumbs.
But two, they derive that lie from something that
Yeah.
right? So it may have been something where
Let's see what the
George said, hey,
time.
down the road, 20 years from now, whatever, we're in a position where we're going to upgrade or whatever, or downgrade, maybe we'll turn the house over.
Thank you.
And Casey got really excited about it, starts embellishing the story, starts talking to her friends about it, and before you know it, she's in this lie that instead of just backing out of it, she doubles down. And, you know,
Like a
sure,
crazy
there was a
person.
conversation that maybe happened, but it was probably
I've
nothing
met a
like
few people like that in my life.
Like to
Yeah.
double down, like
That's a
oh
good
my
point. I
gosh.
make
Things up out of the blue, like
because I do think
lies with no meaning.
Right? It's I don't understand.
she's lying, it has to be to gain something, or it has to be for some like greater, more nefarious plan. But it could be just
I
what you
can
said.
see
She's already got it
tomato.
over her head, and then she was like, I have to die.
I might have to use
that
yeah.
person. I think we all, it's a lot of people out there, listening, watching right now, you have this person in your life that
Where
how's
is
it going to be going? Right? They may have a new job or whatever, but instead of just saying what they actually, are doing, they always have to, instead of just getting
I had a little
manager or whatever, it's just
like
like,
a little
it's
cleaner
not
tool.
and they will go to great lengths to cover up that lie because now either A, they're embarrassed or B, there's a deeper rooted issue there. But
Encapsulates the tomato sauce.
and a lot of people,
I mean I can, it wouldn't do anything damaging, but if we could get some of that out it would be good.
so yeah, I think she's someone that we may
See, this one looks now like the ideal shape because you created this one, and then this one looks more like
version of a pathological.
the rounded, stumpier type.
Exaggerating and stuff, but I can never say I knew someone like
No,
Casey
no
because
problem.
Yeah.
after
I was like,
one or two
no.
of those lies,
Luckily if it's like under here, it can come out. Oh, I'm so sorry. We got a poke in there.
she lied about everything.
Sorry, honey bun.
That's just
Pushing back
Casey.
The skin there.
My person. Say that.
How do you deal with that?
They're no longer in my life.
Right,
You're so cute about the stumpy. Okay, let's see
Haven't talked to them.
See, it looks a little stumpier.
if we can, if we could have your fingers. There we go. Okay, so like the only thing I can do is slightly bring this over just a teeny bit, and we're gonna start losing because we don't have a lot of like real estate here, so we're gonna start shortening. You're gonna start losing your length. Be more out of shape here. Because like technically this is like a teensy bit longer. This one's a little bit longer than this.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting like a little bit of a different. Do you want me to take that
A
down?
little bit, yeah. Just to match it. Even though I like it and now it looks real nice, it's like the other one's like, will grow and
And then we can have all the shape
yes.
that you would like.
Tony Lazzaro said that
And now they'll
basically
grow and then
announced
hopefully
that
like
his
break.
apartment,
Yes.
his mother wouldn't let her. The next night, the group went out again for Troy's actual birthday. They went to TGI.
Because anything, if you stare at it for hours and hours and hours, you're gonna,
Yeah, I think that's what
you know what I
where I'm
mean?
at
You're
right now.
gonna find all the tiny things, but I just want to make sure you're as like happy as possible.
Yeah.
That
looks
Shirley
good.
mentioned
I'm
speaking to
frequent
her daughter
with
Cindy because it was Cindy's 50th birthday. And she said that Cindy had sounded impressed.
Okay, so let's bring these thumbs up here. Okay.
Cindy is
And then let's go for the pointers.
the depression. So much responsibility getting to be too much for her. I think she had to use her retirement funds to pay bills. Now weekly expenses were so much. She can't add to her 401k, so the company doesn't give you anything if you don't contribute. George's folly poor took a lot. Casey spends more than she makes and hence doesn't contribute, but makes more for Cindy to pay. End quote. You also have to understand that Casey was not just lying to her parents about working. She was lying to everyone about working. And she would use the I have to work excuse anytime she didn't want to deal with conflict or she wanted to get out of something. So on June 6th, Casey had plans with her friend Amy and some other friends.
It's like the micro ones where you want to be so careful because you don't want to take.
That night, saying she had made a huge mistake of going back into
When
work
you do your
to set up for an event.
Mm-hmm.
In Disney.
And you have like distant cousins.
Yeah. And then you keep trying to add on to make them both equal. And you end
That's
up
why there does get to be a point where you're
way too
going way
much.
too far, and then you just need to stop.
Yeah.
Thank God for Casey, said no one ever. So Casey told Amy, like, listen, I don't know when I'm going to be getting out, but I'm already really tired. And this is code, if you don't know, for I'm not meeting you out tonight. You know what I mean? Because Amy's like, when are you going to be out? Like, when are you going to be here? And he's like, I don't know. I'm already feeling really tired. Amy should just know at that point Casey is not going to show up. Now, in a separate message, Casey texted Ricardo, her ex-boyfriend, who she was supposed to have been meeting for dinner that night, to tell him that she had to stay at work. Casey was not working, and she didn't stay home. Instead, she went with her new boyfriend, Tony.
I'm just gonna have you look at this after, and then just let me know if there's anything that you want different. Because once I start in with the nail polish, I can only do slight corrections. I can't really do much because then it's gonna ruin the finish.
Takes the pictures from social media, she puts them on her own social media, and then what happens? Her friends, Ricardo and Amy, they see the pictures on Casey's social media, and they confronted her about lying to them. And so she did the only thing that makes sense, right? She came clean. She was like, I lied to you, I'm so sorry, no, I'm lying. I'm lying about that. I pulled a Casey. She didn't tell the truth.
I pulled a Casey.
Casey told her friends that her boss at Universal
Okay,
Studios
pinkies.
had sent her to this fight club on a work mission because his daughter was there partying at Fusion that night and he wanted Casey to check on her and make sure she was okay.
No.
And Casey claimed that as soon as she did this, she returned to work. And apparently, her friends Amy and Ricardo didn't believe her.
Have a look at her.
That makes sense. That checks out. Yeah, that sounds like a completely legitimate work assignment that your boss at Universal Studios would give you as a super important event coordinator. They were like, yeah, okay, Casey, thanks for being so honest.
Yeah, so she's also a private investigator.
I don't know if that one's
She's
off
something, a security guard,
a little
security
bit.
guard.
Yeah, so I was looking at it, and I feel like it's your natural nail. Because if you look at the curve here versus the curve, it's kind of up. But let me see.
You're already aware of it.
So sometimes when you have it all buffed up, you can kind of see it a bit better.
People see what they want.
That is true.
Because I got concerned if I file too much here,
Common sense.
your natural nail, you're not going to have
Want
much.
to believe something because they love them or whatever, and they turn a blind eye to
Much
things.
left.
That's fair, but outside looking in, seems pretty obvious what's happening.
Let me
So listen,
see.
I'm just gonna say, I don't know what it was about Casey, but she did have.
Yeah, it's just your natural nail here has a bit of a curve. So it's like going down. So the only thing I could do is add a tiny bit more product, but you have the risk of bulking it out because I'm still going to be doing the design and everything else on top of it.
Okay, I think that's it. I think they're as equal as we're gonna get until they grow out and then we're able to do more with them.
That part. Because, yeah, like you saw already, just the filing we did, it starts to bring it down. So you start losing, like, a little bit of your length. So I don't want to, like, go file happy and then we don't have, like, anything to work with. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that pinky's now a little burny.
Right?
Add the alcohol.
Bernie, right? We'll definitely, when we're finished, we'll put a little bit of polysporin on there. Okay, so we'll go in with the nude Magnifique. There we go. It was not focusing at all. Okay, we got 60 and 60. Okay, let's go. You all comfy? I want to make sure I'm not going to hit this.
Specifically with men, and it does seem like in a lot of cases she did get what she wanted. So I'm sure there's a lot of factors in that, and this isn't the first person we've ever spoken about where they use their ability to speak, their looks to get what they want.
Who else have we talked about?
Well, I mean, I would say honestly, even Scott Peterson, although a little good-looking guy, knows what to say. I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that. Not even at this level. There are people probably in your own life as you're watching and listening to this that you work with or friends with who, maybe not for nefarious reasons, but have an ability to get what they're after, whether it's at a restaurant or at a place where you're buying a car or something where you can use your assets, verbal or physical, to get ahead. Nothing wrong with that. For reasons, I guess.
It's like these very charming people, they can use their powers for good or evil. She used it for evil. So later that night,
And then just aim straight down, yeah.
allegedly at this
No,
point,
my pinky
Casey's
wants to do
best
that.
friend. Casey said Amy was her best friend at this time. Poor Amy, she gets into a car
Bye,
accident,
bye.
she totals her vehicle. And the next day, Casey posted on Amy's
Bye,
Facebook,
love.
I hope you're okay, hope everything's alright, sorry I wasn't there, etc., etc. So later that night, Amy's
He's a
laying on the couch
character.
at Ricardo's
I
apartment.
know.
She's staying the night. She
So
said
nice,
everyone was
though.
making fun of her because she had injured her nose during the accident. And that's why she remembered this specific night,
It's
because
funny,
at around
sometimes he
11
just breaks
p.m.,
out into
Casey showed up
spontaneous
with
dance.
Kaylee. They both
Yeah,
spent the night
he's
at Ricardo's.
serenaded me with a
Since
good
point,
dance.
Casey's in a relationship with
I was
Anthony
dying
Lazaro.
laughing.
She's still spending the night at Ricardo's apartment with her daughter. So when she starts texting Amy and she texts her before, she's gonna text her again like, I don't understand what he wants from me. Like, he's still so hung up on me and he wants to be with me. It's like, you keep going to his apartment and spending the night. So I wonder why he thinks that there's still a chance.
Yeah, again, none of this is surprising. 3 parts in here, none of this is surprising at this point. I feel like everyone has a pretty good grasp on the type of person that Casey is. This appears to be all kind of par for the course. It's unfortunate that Keely's kind of being dragged into it as well. She's staying with, at random guys' homes and stuff like that. And I know she probably knows Ricardo, but it's not how it should be.
Not a
Yeah,
good
because
look.
Ricardo said that when he and Casey were dating, particularly, she would often bring Kaylee over and they would both spend the night there. And I mean, I guess on this specific
It's
night,
not good
I'm not
for
sure
your
where they
child.
slept.
No, you need stability.
Bed with him. I don't know. It's odd to me. But Ricardo remembered that Casey and Kaylee both left the next morning, and apparently they both went back home because Ricardo and Amy spoke to Casey later that night. Okay, so that brings us up to Monday, June 9th,
See
2008.
evil
About a
fluff
week
again.
before Kaylee goes missing, and we've briefly spoken about Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, right? This was a woman who
Not
Casey claimed was the
Zenaida.
nanny for her ex-boyfriend Jeff Hopkins' son. And Casey had been telling her friends that this woman had also been babysitting Kaylee. And on this day, Monday, June 9th, she would later tell the police she allegedly brought Kaylee to Zenaida's home located at the Sawgrass Apartments on Conway Road. And then Casey went to work. Well, she didn't go to work, right? Because she doesn't have a job. Casey was actually with her boyfriend, Tony Lizardo, that day. She didn't drop Kaylee off anywhere. He and Kaylee picked Tony up from school and they gave him a ride to the mechanic shop where his truck
The
was.
northern lights are so pretty tonight. Boo Creamy, yes, oh my gosh, we got to see them. They were absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can grab that picture, honey, and so we could show them again. And Leandra, we're listening to a true crime podcast from Stephanie Harlow and Derek. I always mess this up. Lavasser. This is like the 20th time she said it. Oh, yes. Look at that. We went out and saw the most beautiful lights. I posted what it looks like from my house. Oh, boo, I can't wait to see. It's amazing. I'm just so happy I'm in a place where I can see it, because when I was in Ontario, you definitely were not able to see it.
First time I ever seen it.
Talking about Kaylee using the big girl body. You know, this is something that as a young mother I probably would have said to my friends who didn't have kids, because when you're 17 with a baby, most of your friends don't have kids and they don't care that stuff, you know. They don't care about it, they don't want to hear it, and they feel weird. So it does seem like she is.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. We were so happy. We had to stop because we were doing the gel overlay and we literally stopped to run downstairs just to see it. It was definitely worth it.
And as we're going through this, we're trying to break it down and dissect it. You know, the big question happens. We know that Kaylee's no longer with us. That's not a debate. She's not missing any longer. We know that she's deceased. And we know a lot of the factors that you're going to cover as far as her whereabouts before her disappearance.
And sorry, this is the Kaylee Anthony case that we're listening to.
And I said it, I think, in part
We
one.
wanted to do some true crime and nails.
What happened as far as, like, we know she's no longer here, but it's like, how did it happen? Was it malicious in nature? Was it intentional? Or was it just pure negligence?
Or who was it? Who was it too? That's still on the table, right?
That is on the table. I think, you know, absolutely. I agree with you. It's still on the table. But
I had to pop in as you were heading out to see. Oh my gosh. You're like, thanks for the heads up. I'm so glad you were able to see it. Yeah, as soon as my partner said Northern Lights, we like ran.
or was it intentional?
I'm glad we did though.
Or was she not paying attention when Kaylee was injured and died from her injuries?
So I
That would have not been fun if we had have missed that.
Good. I didn't have to try to get
It's
to
not
confess.
something you feel every day.
Nope.
This comes naturally to you.
Just snap the book. I confess.
It's those boy-like appearances, you guys. You're so unthreatening. But listen, so you know, there was 3 main books written on this that I read. Keith Abel's book, and I forget his name, but the prosecutor. I forget his name. It's bothering me because it's right there in my brain. And then obviously Jose Baez's book. And I read Jose.
I was
Baez's
like,
book.
Jose Bias, I know that one.
Oh.
Okay, everyone knows I hate Jose Baez. I still do to this day. I have no problem. Jose, come here
Casey
right now into my
is
recording room.
liar.
And I will say this to your face in the streets, wherever. I cannot stand you.
Allegedly.
You're a terrible person. However,
There's a little part that pulled here, so as soon as this cures, I'm gonna have to go in there and just get that, because then we'll never have like
he raises
an
some
even area there.
Okay.
some indisputable facts that have me going like, oh, there might be something to this. So I definitely also want to explore what Casey claims happened, which is the fact that Kaylee drowned in the pool and George Anthony covered it up. Because I will say, and it's up to you and the viewers to kind of go down this path with me and say whether you think it's completely impossible or there's definitely some possibility that it happened. But there's some stuff that he wrote and that is facts and evidence that make it seem like that theory might be a little possible, and it's bothering me because I've been so certain about this for so long, and now I regret it.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, what I'm saying is, did she
How is everybody doing tonight?
because she no longer wanted to take care of
Okay,
her?
so just have this turn for a second.
And she just wanted to be a party girl, yeah.
And then before I can go in with a second coat, I'll have to finalize that area just so that we don't have any problems there.
Because we have had good parents
I think we should be good.
due to an accidental drowning, right? So, but in this case, putting in context of
Absolutely beautiful. You can pop that in.
that this was avoidable, and if the pool scenario is true, which I also still think it's very possible. Did it happen because it was an actual accident, or did it happen?
Oh, Leanne just said, love the concept. My favorites together. Do you only do gel? Is there a way you can turn the volume up? We can definitely turn the volume up. I just worry about copyright concerns, so we didn't have it
Counts as a problem.
too loud, but we can definitely turn it up a bit. You can also, so this episode is called
Baez,
Kaylee Anthony.
around
Oh gosh, I'm going to see Zanny part 3. So we're ready on part 3 of the series.
Yeah, not one that I think is possible.
that's
And we started the very first part
attention.
when we started this gel overlay, and it's been quite a ride already.
Or was it an honest mistake?
And then if we agree it's
So
an
much,
accident, why would
like
you
I've followed the case from the
body of
beginning with
this
Casey
child
Anthony, but
in
it's so
the
interesting to hear
woods? It's
their
like
perspectives as well.
That's another question you have to ask.
Which one?
Especially someone who does true crime for a living, and then someone
Then it
who's
could be accidental.
previously like law enforcement, so he gives
Yep.
his perspective of it.
You screwed up here.
Yeah, but that's to me that's not accidental. Like if you were just neglecting
Thank
your
you, honey.
child and not paying attention to her, like you should expect something bad to happen.
Oh,
She was a
well,
kid.
already was
Right, and that's what I'm
doing
saying. Where George,
I'm so glad you're liking it.
listen, you're in trouble here. You got problems.
And George, being a former police officer, was like, "Let's cover up this crime." What an idiot!
That would answer your question though, right? Like, why wouldn't you just tell the police? Like a lot of parents, unfortunately, have lost a child due to a pool drowning, an accidental pool drowning. It's terrible, absolute nightmare. But usually they call police or they call the ambulance to try to resuscitate the child.
Yes, exactly.
There's
Yep.
something that happens immediately after, and none of that happened. So the question is, if that's
So
like,
you're
Oh
saying
my
maybe
gosh,
Haley
I
drowned
love
in the
her.
pool, and Casey either didn't even realize it until George or Cindy got home, or she did realize it, did nothing.
How do you
and by the
not
time they got
realize?
home,
Like, I'm just like,
hours
that
had
just
passed, and they were like, "This
infuriates
looks
me.
bad."
Because
You can't just be
it's
like
a
letting your kid
lie.
die and not call the
Allegedly.
police and not do
Mhm.
anything. So now at this point, we have to go into
It's a roller coaster ride from the start. I can't get over how someone can lie like that. I watched her documentary and I watched her lie, just straight bull-faced lie to the camera, and that was just
She
horrible.
was preoccupied doing something else.
right.
Bad, really bad. So we'll get there. I know we're getting ahead right now,
They,
but
that's fine, but they had just opened their pool. And I will say though, when you talk about negligence, Casey Anthony should have been charged with child negligence. Period. Like you weren't charged with murder. Okay. But the fact is your daughter was missing and for 30 days you did nothing. So that's negligence right there. That should have been a slam dunk. There shouldn't even be a question. That
She
woman should have
wasn't
served
missing.
so
She was
prison time. I don't
dropping
understand
her off with like
why she did
whoever and
I haven't
whatever,
gone ahead,
and lied about
but,
having a job
and
and
you might clarify
just
this
going
right
off
now,
and
but she
partying.
was
So
charged.
She was charged with murder.
So right there. So there's the
But can't you add different charges in? Like, why can't you be charged with both?
I always get caught up on this. I think when you charge, so like when you're as a prosecutor going in and saying, we know she murdered her daughter. However, if you don't believe that, we're going to hit her with these, manslaughter charges or whatever. We're going to hit, whatever, the child endangerment. You're basically hedging your bets, and that hurts your case. Because how confident are you really if you're doing that? So usually, I think there's
Please don't let me forget before you leave to put a little bit of the polysporin on that one part.
okay, I do have polysporin in the back of my
Oh, you
fridge, so
do?
if
Okay,
say
perfect.
you do forget, like
So at night, before you go to sleep, just put them over all your cuticles and just go to sleep. And any kind of areas from like buffing or anything like that,
I got the good one, the triple.
that's the one I use. I find that it works so good.
Kyle Rittenhouse, where there was an opportunity for the prosecution to allow
This magnifique is magnifique. So pretty.
I definitely am not an expert on this, and I would personally love to hear it as well. But there is a reasoning behind why you won't see someone charged with first-degree murder and vehicular manslaughter in a case where they hit someone with their car.
Okay,
It's
so
usually one or the other.
so it says on October 14th, 2008, Casey Anthony was indicted by a grand jury on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and 4 counts of providing false information to police. So she had all those charges. She pled not guilty to all those charges. And how a jury did not find her guilty of
I would not be able to take the cops to Universal Studios and keep up that act. I know, you're unhinged. Like, that's crazy.
For so long too.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's that's gonna be a great episode to dive into as far as the legality behind it, and ultimately how, because I'm assuming jury members have spoken about it since, like how they came to that conclusion and why. What was the reason behind it? I'm fascinated by that. I'm holding off.
I can't believe she's working as a PI right
I
now.
can't wait to break that down. And I don't know if we'll agree with it, but have a better
People that
understanding.
got her off, they gave her a job after.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard rumors that she was in a relationship with her.
Yep.
So.
I've heard those same rumors.
And I wouldn't be surprised because that's how she got by in life, was just going from one person to the next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, we definitely don't need all that commercial.
Understanding of that, because I think she did, and it's like so far away now, I can't remember, and I haven't gotten to that part yet in this new research, but I think she did get charged with like providing false information to the police. But if you're gonna be charged with that, why
It
not?
was like obstruction, right? She got hit with like one count of like it was nothing.
Yeah, because she sent them on like a wild goose chase though, and like she should have had to pay back all that money for that investigation. Like I don't know what happened, but she
Can't look have that tip.
yes, and like some light from heaven must have been shining on her that day for making.
Oh, Leandra asked if I do acrylic, so I'm actually painfully allergic to acrylic. So usually if I do any form of acrylic, it's more like the polygel. So I find that the dust when you're filing is a lot better.
For a month.
Grace Sculian, thank you so much for joining.
The only reason we're bringing it up now, it's not like we're going.
She said, ooh, preppy. We did a lot of prep, that's for sure.
Now
Let me
it's palm
see.
reading.
Now, yeah, right, we're reading the palms. The palms be telling us all the things. You can put that in. And let's see the other girl that we had a little spillage.
Because it will start to paint a picture for
Yeah,
you
it's right
naturally.
here.
I mean, it's almost like a detective when you go into it, like, detective perspective. You don't want to come up with a theory and then find the
Tell me
evidence
if does that hurt?
supports your theory and
I was just
exclude
saying,
things
I
like
was just thinking because he said detective
like,
perspective,
oh,
and that's
yeah.
later what he named his
It may not be a
particular
straight needle
Oh,
path.
show
really?
on YouTube. Yeah,
Detective
Some
perspective.
different
that's what he
roads
calls
that
it.
have
So he
explore
goes
that ultimately
over
lead to a dead
unsolved and
Most
missing
times I feel
cases,
most
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does.
and at
I
the
said
end
it
he
before,
gives
too, where
his
you might have
detective
4 or 5
perspective on
elements
what
that
they
you
could
can
do
get
to
you
improve
where
the
you
case
think
and
it
where
is,
they could go
and you might get
from
over
that
4
point.
elements, and then
Oh.
Because
one,
the
piece
it's
of the
not
puzzle
because
doesn't
it's
match,
all
and it's
unsolved and
so
missing people.
disheartening.
It's
But
things
if
with
you're doing your
potential
job,
of
you
still
don't just
being solved.
discredit that. And
Oh,
you
yes,
have to
yeah.
get
So
through it, you go
that's
back
why
and
he
you try
does that
again
channel.
until you find the combination that unlocks it
That's
off.
So he
interesting.
gives his
Sometimes
law
you get there, sometimes you
enforcement,
don't.
like,
But that's kind
I
of what
guess
we're doing here.
view
We all
on
have our
things and
theories.
how, like,
We're listening to the
and he
known
does it so
facts
that
of the case,
if anyone
and
has
we'll
heard
see how this
of the
information
situation or knows
aligns with
anything, they
what
can
a
come
lot of people think
forward
doesn't
and
make
get that
sense, doesn't
spread
matter.
out there.
Exactly, and I think that is something to keep in mind. And as I'm going through this and I'm researching
There's
and
always
reading through
potential
everything
for
again, keep in mind this is
cold
evidence.
cases to
What
get
I'm saying,
solved.
Oh,
all of this,
more
like,
than
all the
potential.
time.
you're hearing it.
Like,
and
very
it's going
much
through
so.
this timeline.
Gonna have
The
to go
jury
in
heard
with
all
the
of this. They
this
saw,
little girl. It's
text
not. We're
messages,
not getting
pictures,
that
they saw
flush.
everything in front of them, and to know that at the end of all that, this was the decision they
The
made.
result.
It's
Oh, thank
very
you. That's
hard
perfect.
to understand
Yeah,
that
that's her.
because we're going through all of this
It's like
evidence
even
that
if I have to
like,
go
I-
in and like fix
I
that
don't
area
need
with the
to know
color,
anymore, right? You even
with
said
even
it,
having that little bit of bump, every time there's polish, it will just always flood in that area,
So,
and we don't want
somebody
that.
said in our comment section today on part one's video, it's hard to even contemplate or even consider that Casey might be telling the truth about something
Even
because
just
she's
a
lying
one
about
layer of
everything.
color is
She's so
already.
Right?
She's very,
Okay,
like,
so can we have your
real life.
thumbs?
When you
Yeah.
have all of this
Let
laid
me
out in
also
front of you,
quickly, where's that paper towel?
yes.
It's clean because we have so much little dusties. So why I said the alcohol, like, this is almost done now because I'm like, I know.
It's like, it's hard to root for Casey Anthony.
I'm glad he was able to get on
I am so happy. Like, I was like, I will take anything, but if you can get 99, that is like gold here. That's what we want.
I know the dollar store, they only sell like 40.
Oh, actually, sometimes they have 99. I've gotten 99 before, especially during the pandemic. I love Polygel. Have you guys followed the Karen Reed case? Have you? I don't think I've heard that. There's actually 2 cases that I have to check out that were from that people mentioned during this live.
Yeah, someone mentioned Sebastian Rogers earlier.
We need to check that out.
I feel like it
1000%.
sounds familiar, but like I'm not good with names, so like if I hear details about a case, then I'll be like, oh, I know that one or I don't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. They happen to good people.
Guaranteed.
So yeah, I agree with you.
You're gonna love as soon as we do that second coat. You're gonna see that beautiful like haze and just so gorgeous.
And Casey would have done her time and had her life in front of her.
And she might not even have done any time. Because
She might not
it was an
have.
accident.
Yeah, she
It
might
was
not
an
have.
accident. You know, the parent at that point has suffered enough if they really didn't need for this to happen. So yeah, she might have.
I will say though, in these cases with kids involved, definitely hit different now.
Right?
Call the rescue and done what most parents would.
As you know, a mom, you start
It's
thinking
kind of
like
twisted to
everything
think that
differently.
if that's what really
Yeah.
happened.
Well, it used to bother me
Has once
before
again
and make me really
supported the
upset,
idea
and
that lying
it's awful to
gets
hear
you
that
out of
for a
things. If she had
child,
told the
you
truth,
know.
she would have had to
or
face some
defenseless.
repercussions.
But now,
she
like,
didn't. She lied. She hid everything.
having my
and now
own
she's free as a
kids,
bird.
Mhm.
Right?
constantly hitting different.
Right?
Like, I start to think,
Perspective, like, yeah, she's free.
I guess.
What if my child was
Yeah,
in
Mama Bear mode. That's basically
full
the way
mama
it
bear
I
mode?
guess some people don't care about
It makes
that,
me
but
angry and
Well, she
just
gets some
like a
drinks thrown in her
negligence, and
face
then
every so often,
I get
but
emotional
everyone
from
knows
it.
her name, and it's not only that we hate it, it's what
Well,
she's
of course, because you
I
think
think
like
someone like Casey Anthony doesn't care
put
what
yourself in
her
those shoes, and then
Yeah.
instantly that's really hard because
Because it could be anybody.
I sleep
Mhm.
just fine at night.
It could happen to
God bless her
anybody.
heart,
You gotta
because-
be diligent and like,
No.
make sure you're.
God,
protecting your
don't listen.
child.
Don't listen.
Even then,
Sherry
it
doesn't know what
sometimes
he's
it's
talking about. Shine your-
unavoidable. Like
Mhm.
shine your heaven lights somewhere
Watch
else.
cases where there's situations with children, there's people involved, and they do everything right
Yep.
to avoid these situations. Like they're very safe and they're always, aware of like
So that
things that
night
could go
that
wrong, and
Casey texted me,
Speaking-
she's like,
sometimes they're just a
Kaylee used to
victim of
microphone
opportunity.
Both she and Kaylee spent the night at Ricardo's again after he got home from work around 8 p.m. The next morning, both Ricardo and Amy saw Kaylee with her mother at Ricardo's apartment, and then they left. And that was the last time either Amy or Ricardo would ever see little Kaylee. Now, it's not clear if something specific happened between Casey and Ricardo at this time, but later around 6:46 p.m., Casey texted her friend Amy and said, quote, "So, Rick and I aren't friends anymore. He finally decided to tell me that he loves me, and unfortunately, I'm not there with him anymore. I waited months for this to happen, and now that it has, I can't say that he is the only guy I have feelings for. It's like I have
Wow.
to choose. He's throwing everything in my face. Ugh, he still wants me to date him, knowing that I'm starting to like Tony. I can't do that. I'm not that person. I respect him too much to do that." End quote. The next night was Wednesday, June 11th. Amy and Ricardo went to Club Voyage again. I think that all the kids and like young adults in Orlando, right? They're just clubbing every weekend. Is that a Florida thing? Club kids every weekend?
I wouldn't know.
Feels like there's definitely that like club kid culture down there where they're just like every weekend nightclub. But Casey was supposed to have met them out at Club Voyage, but she told them she was working and she couldn't. And that same day, she changed her Facebook status to in a relationship with Tony Lazaro, so you know it's serious. I mean, marriage is the next step after you change your Facebook
Facebook
status.
official.
It's
Oh
marriage.
my
And moving into Casey's parents' house because they're moving out apparently. All right, so on Thursday, Casey brought Kaylee
god. I didn't know
to the
that.
Mall of
That's one
Florida.
part of the case I didn't know. So Sebastian is a 15-year-old autistic kid from Tennessee. It's turning to the Summer Wells. I don't know if you guys have heard of Summer,
Yeah, I have heard of the Summer Wells.
but it's also sad. What? I am so sorry to hear, like, oh gosh, so I'm guessing he's passed. Oh god, this is awful. This is why, like, there needs to be laws and protection and all these things because, you know, especially children. Children are vulnerable.
10:24 p.m., Casey told Amy that she had to make a late night phone call for work. She would call her back.
Karen Reed,
Now at 11:15
I'm gonna
p.m.
screenshot this just so I can look into that.
Anthony home made some internet
The
searches.
Karen Reed is Canton,
Report showed keyword
sorry, what's it
searches
say,
for
Massachusetts
Selena,
case.
Hernandez,
I always say that wrong, I'm sorry. My Canada is showing in court right now. Jeez.
Using internet searches. And it's always tough to put a face behind a computer. We went through this in the Peterson case. You know, like there's a search happening in this house at this time,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody in the family is home at this time because it's like 11:30 at night. So you can say it could have been anybody, but our minds obviously jump to the fact that Casey made those searches. Maybe she's trying to create more depth to the identity.
You're good, honey?
Of this nanny that she knows
You can,
a lot
yeah.
of people are about to start asking her about
Your
this.
thumbs are so perfect that, like, just the thin coat.
Doesn't even.
Yeah, she's good.
Parents who were
And then
trying to
we'll go
get
on
some
to these
information
girls,
about
just
this
doing
woman
this
that
second.
Casey
Yeah.
She trusted enough to leave their precious Kaylee with. So I'm not gonna just go out on a limb and tell you for a fact
Yep,
that Casey made these searches. I'm 85% sure that she did, but it could have been Cindy or George maybe trying to find out more information about Kaylee's nanny. They have never admitted to that, but who knows?
And you were saying as far as the context.
So,
of
like, the
conversation
natural,
between Casey and
like,
Amy,
white of your nail, is that
because
where
they
you
were
want me
having a
to
conversation,
aim
we
for
don't
the
know about what,
French?
but they were
How
having a
deep do
conversation
you want
about
your
what she
French?
said, I have to make
Go a
a
little
phone call for
Which
her.
obviously
Past
she
it?
does.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, and then you tell me, because some people like a very deep, some people like a shallow, small line.
Just
So
enough to
we'll-
just cover it, but not have any showing. Go a little deeper just to make sure.
Stay tuned because today
I will.
we're going to be
I
discussing
know
an
sometimes
exciting option for
light
social
shines
justice.
through.
Yes, light can shine through if it's not.
And today we're going to discuss an opportunity for professionals that are in science, technology,
And it's like you said, like I have good nail beds.
Oh, he's
so-
still missing. Sorry, I don't know anything about the case. So,
Oh, no.
he's still missing since February 26th. The Summer Wells is also still missing, but people are blaming the mom and stepdad. I'm gonna have to look into both of
Oh,
those.
there was a little boy one like that too that these guys covered.
And then
it was
straight
like
down.
It was a family camping trip, and this baby just goes missing, and it looks like the family was involved with the parents.
Oh, God, no.
And they weren't the only ones camping; it was also the grandparents as well, and the family friend. And then they tried to blame it on, oh, someone came through the campsite, and maybe he went to the river, and they just left this baby alone.
What?
But the
Well,
more
like-
the more you go into the case, you realize they had a giant cooler. They
Mm.
took camping, and it never was found again.
Oh,
So,
shit.
a cooler big enough to put
To
a
fit-
baby.
fit a baby. That's what got me about the whole Madeline McCain case. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, I know about
what parents just, like, find proper, like, adequate sitters? Like, why are you leaving? You're saying you leave every 5 minutes to go check on the child and you guys are drinking? I don't believe that.
It's not safe, especially in a foreign country, and like, the doors weren't properly locked, and there's windows and all kinds of stuff. And it wasn't just her; it was her two brothers, right? And the other families had their kids that were just left unattended too.
Crazy.
And then the family describing her was really weird, like something was off. That never settled
She's
well with
asking
me.
him to go to the nightclub where her boyfriend Tony Lazaro works. But luckily Ricardo was like, no, I'm going out of town. But he did ask Casey if she and Amy had made it to Jacksonville that day. And Casey repeated the same lie. She'd been unable to because her father had gone to the hospital because of his stroke. Now, I don't think that Casey was actually inviting Ricardo Morales to Fusion Nightclub as a friend, but
So
she
we
was
ended up
sort of
getting
doing it in
something
the capacity
touched.
of, like, trying to drum up a bunch of people who would show up at the club
can
that
see
night
something
and
on your
make her boyfriend
finger here.
Tony look good since he was running promotions for a hip-hop showcase that was being held at the club that
Let's
night.
see if
Casey had texted many people
maybe
and messaged even more
finger.
people on Facebook.
Right? Maybe it was. Let's hope it was just spaghetti
Casey
shush.
kind of worked for Tony, like not officially, but she kind of felt like she was the Bonnie to his Clyde. So she was working with like the shot girls and training them, and she was trying to help with promotions and stuff. You know, she kind of felt needed and necessary.
Oh, the camping one. Leandra asked, are you talking about the door case?
You know, she didn't actually
DOR. Yes. Yeah.
the club photographer that
I
night, Teddy
remember
Piper, he said that this was the third Friday in a
I
row
know
he
that.
could remember
Butcher
Casey
it.
being at
Oh.
Fusion. The owner of the club
he's
would later
very
be
cute,
stunned
little
to find out that Casey was a
boy.
mother. because he said
That's
this was
just
not his
heartbreaking.
typical club
Just
clientele. You know, we don't usually have mothers hanging out in Fusion, and he had seen and spoken to Casey several times in her capacity as Tony's girlfriend slash little helper, and she'd never even
And it was
mentioned
there,
having
like
a
they
daughter.
found his
That
stuff.
brings
It
us
was
to
there.
Sunday, June
I tried to
15th,
say it was an animal
2008.
too, but
It was
like
Father's
it
Day,
makes no
and
sense.
Cindy Anthony brought little
That
Kaylee
doesn't
to
make
visit
me feel good.
Alexander Plesia at the Avanti Nursing Home in Mount Dora, Florida. Alexander, if you remember, was Cindy's father,
Yeah, and they went into
Kaylee's
town
great-grandfather.
to pick
There's
up
this
some
really
stuff,
adorable video of Kaylee
and people
and
said that they'd
Alexander
seen
snuggling.
parents
You know, he's
with
singing
him.
softly to her. I think
So,
he's singing "You Are My
That's
Sunshine."
weird.
But
There's a
according
lot
to a
of
nurse
weird
who was on duty that day,
situations.
the reality of the situation was not really as
And the
sweet as
dad
the
drove
resulting
off to
pictures
make
and
the
videos.
911 call,
Kaylee
but
didn't
then the
seem to feel
mom also
completely
made a
comfortable at the
911
nursing
call
home.
like minutes
This
apart,
nurse,
but they
her
said
name,
they were
her name
away
was
from
Nurse
each other.
Angel.
Like
She
just
said that she saw
weird stuff
Kaylee
that didn't add
at
up.
the home,
What
and
the
Kaylee
heck?
kind of seemed like really tense and anxious, so the nurse stopped playing with her for a little bit. Angel said, quote, "I was like, hey cutie, tell me your name." And she kind of blushed, and then I said, "Can I get a hug?" And I picked her up and she laid on my shoulder, end quote. A source close to the family feels that Kaylee's presence at the nursing home was completely unnecessary and kind of inappropriate, since Alexander, he was struggling with dementia, he'd had a stroke recently, you know, he was in a wheelchair, and being at a place like this as a young child can be confusing and scary. This source said, quote, "It had nothing to do with Kaylee. Kaylee was nothing more than a prop that day. Most people are props to Cindy Anthony," end quote. So I will
Oh
say,
God.
I don't have a problem with bringing small children to nursing
Neither
homes.
do I. I worked in a nursing home, so I know how amazing it can be. You have to talk with them. That's what I was going to say. You have to have a conversation so that those kind of things are not scary. Because sometimes when somebody sees, you know,
I think,
but I think it makes you well.
too, to see like younger people, like young
It's
kids.
huge. You don't know what that can mean for a patient, especially certain patients with dementia that are like stuck in a phase of life, and it's like seeing that can be so therapeutic and healing.
Exactly. I've seen even videos where
Can we have a turn?
patients with dementia or Alzheimer's are given baby dolls so they can, take care
Oh,
of
it's
them and nurse them.
Dior Coons, DEORR space KUNZ.
There were a lot of people in the nursing home who would see my younger daughter Tenley at the time. Peyton wasn't born yet, and it was a
Hey,
little
Missy.
uncomfortable for Tenley because she'd have these random people who want to like talk to her
Yeah,
and
pop
answer
her in.
all these things. And I think that
Please and thank you, and then I'll take the other girls. Now we're cooking with gas.
Everything you said, where we can't just like drop the hammer on it. Oh my God, how could she bring her to the nursing home?
No.
So I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I really don't have any rebuttal. Like I can empathize with that because I've been.
We also can't put these people in nursing homes and then be like, "You're cut off from the world. You never get to see a child again."
Yeah. But
that's
as far as Kaylee being unnerved about it, like totally normal.
Yeah.
Like doesn't. I mean, there could obviously always be something to it, but for me, there's no red flags.
And I think it can be traumatic for kids when they, when they're that young, they're in nursing homes or being brought to funerals and things like.
Of course.
That was, I mean, I don't remember a lot.
For
from
me,
my
it was actually
early
traumatic
childhood,
not
but I do
being able to
remember
go.
going to a funeral, and I was like,
So like
I was traumatized.
my
I was
brother
terrified.
passed and I was 3 and I really wanted to go and they would not let me, and that's something that stuck with me for like my whole life.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, it's a
So I would have loved to be able to go. And the thing is, like with West Indian culture, it's like really big not to let a baby near that because they believe you're so close to like the spiritual realm that a spirit can try to attach itself to you. So that's why we weren't allowed. Like your foot bottom is not meant to touch the soil of like a cemetery. That's really big in like my culture. So my grandma just said a hard no, and my mom really wanted me to go. But my grandma being the matriarch, she put her foot down. So it's something that I think about a lot, that I wish I could have went. But in the same aspect, like no matter what, I was able to be there for my mom as much as a 3-year-old can be. I understood that something very bad happened because obviously you see your mom's belly and then all of a sudden no belly, no baby, and sadness, so you know something bad has happened, but it's hard to quantify that at that age.
I think I can safely say this is probably how it went down, especially
Hard
hearing
thing
how
at any age.
Yeah, any age it's really tough.
kind of like
still people have
Surely seems
difficulties
kind of
talking
judgmental, by the
about
way. I'm
it.
just gonna say
Mhm.
that, right?
That's why I said,
Surely
like, with
Casey's very
cases, like,
Shirley.
stuff with
See,
children's
Shirley
really
Welch,
hard
you
for
know,
me.
she's in her
But
email, she's
luckily, like, I know this case very deeply, so it's, like, not as triggering as certain cases can be for me. Because, like, especially movies, like, when horror movies and stuff try to bring up stuff with babies.
Or animals.
Oh, God, that just does me in. Like, I'm just like, no, 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 thank you. I got into true crime because when I was 6, my best friend went missing in the 2000s and never was found. So I always wondered. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that something comes through with that case, Leandra. Like, that's like so sad.
There's always hope for cases like
There
this,
is
too.
always,
Like,
always
there's
hope.
always things that are changing and discoveries being made.
Thank you for saying that. It's true. I'm really sorry for the loss that you've experienced. Like, that's something that doesn't go away. And we all know, like, our childhood friends. So to think maybe one of those people, like, you know, that's just poof, is gone out of our lives. Like, that's heartbreaking. And without, how do I say it? Like, without closure,
Yeah, because you don't know what happened.
it's really tough.
It always just sit with you, like, wondering.
Mhm.
You can imagine.
was spoiling for a fight. We don't know exactly what happened between Cindy and Casey.
So I want to try this, like, isolated chrome thing. First we're just gonna finish off this, and I'm gonna cleanse it and then go in with your French and see if your French is sticky enough to get the foil. If it's not sticky enough, we'll go in with foil gel. But if we don't have to do that step, that would help us greatly.
Photos of Casey puking in a toilet, you know, pictures of
Oh my
Casey and
gosh, I
friends
can't.
partying, drinking. When she was supposed to open at work. So Cindy's like, listen, all these pictures. Welcome to the life here.
I was wondering.
Right? You're like, did I do something?
Pictures. I checked these dates. You told me you were working. I watched your child for you, so you could go to work, and this is what you were really doing. And Cindy told Casey that she was an unfit mother. She wanted her to move out and stand on her own 2 feet, but she would not be taking Kaylee. Kaylee would remain in her home where she belonged.
I
Casey's
think
brother
that
Lee
this is the
had been a
tipping
witness to
point
many of these
with
arguments
Casey.
before.
This
Arguments between
argument
his
with
mother
the
and
mom,
his sister.
where the mom was like,
Later, he
I'm
would
keeping
confide
your
in a
daughter
friend
then,
that
you
this
need to
time it was
leave.
so much worse.
I think
He
that's
said
what
that they were
pushed her
shouting
over
at each
the
other,
edge.
and then Cindy jumped at Casey and grabbed her by the neck with both of her hands in an attempt to choke her. And Jessie Grund, you remember Jessie Grund?
How's that looking for you, honey?
Casey's ex-boyfriend.
Beautiful.
The one she
Okay,
told
so
him
let's
she
just
was
do the
bothering.
flippy here, and then we can pop her in. And then we just have to do the thumbs, and then let me know if that's the opacity you want, or if you want one more, and then we can, if that opacity is good, then we can go in with the design. Pop her in. I can go for your thumb.
Casey, and it was really bad. This is important because I
Yeah, it's meant to just kind of, any kind of imperfections in the natural nail bed kind of hides like a hazy beautifulness.
And Kaylee never coming back. Casey may have taken her mother's threats very seriously, and she had enough supporting evidence to believe that Cindy was probably not bluffing about kicking her out of the house and keeping her daughter, right? Because 3 years prior to this, Cindy had kicked her own husband out of the house when she got sick of him wasting all their money on gambling sites. In an email to her sister, Cindy's mother, Shirley Plesia, had written, quote, Cindy was doing fine, supporting the house, saving, etc., until George got them into debt with the online gambling, getting credit cards to cover the losses, then running up credit card bills. Cindy used a lot of her savings and took an equity loan on the house. So she has 2 big payments on the house. She used the rest of her 401k to play catch-up on car loans and all the other bills. She saw a lawyer before about the divorce before she took it back. George's lawyer said he could get half the house, which Cindy has paid every penny on. She would also have to pay him alimony because she has
Sorry,
supported
Karen,
him
yeah.
all these years. Cindy asked her lawyer
If it's
they could
too
do
up,
that. They
it
said
has the
yes, they
risk
could.
of flooding the
She had
little
been the main supporter
cuticles.
ever since they came to Florida. Ain't that a bitch? She said there's no way he's getting the house that she has paid for, so she has to stay married, knowing she will never get ahead again. Even if she wanted to get an apartment and sold the house, he could still claim half of everything she has. That's why at 50, she's so depressed. All these years of working, and between George and now Casey, she's living payday to payday. She says she
How's
knows
that?
there's a sickness that runs in George's family.
Pop
Cindy
her
said
in?
she has thought
Okay,
of
so I'm
cleaning
gonna get
herself
the-
if it wasn't for Casey
I'm also
and
gonna,
Dad
like,
and
Was
me.
this thumb?
oh, we need to do that thumb. Yes.
Even that might not be enough to keep her from harming herself. End quote. So this is a lot. And listen, like I said, not Cindy Anthony's biggest fan, because I do think that, you know, she was a little bit of an enabler, a lot of an enabler.
yes.
But this is
A
a lot for
little
anyone.
bit, a
Like,
lot
if
of
everything that
bits.
Shirley Plezia is saying is true, and in an email to her sister, I can't imagine why she would be lying. George Anthony pretty much screwed his entire family over with his bad habits.
So, like,
his
so the reason why this
bad
is also
handling of
tripping you out
money.
is like if you see, like, technically this is like your cuticle's like a slant here
Yeah.
instead of so sometimes like it can do like a mind trickery to you, if you will, when you like oversee, you're like, ah. But that's why I'm happy that we went back in and kind of rounded that area so that they both were looking more uniform.
Yeah. I've always had slanted cuticles.
There's nothing wrong with that. It just everybody has something different.
And you know, Cindy's trying to shelter her from that so that
way
she's
they
not
are.
being traumatized by witnessing
That's
this
why I
firsthand.
said like sometimes things are skewed, sometimes. But that's the fun about nails is like you're making it customized. You know what I mean?
I like it. It makes
I,
them
I,
unique.
I
It
won't say I like the
does.
fact, but it's great to know that you have this altercation that was essentially confirmed by surrounding neighbors, confirmed by Lee, and confirmed by Jesse Grunt. So we know that. We know there was a big dispute the night before Kaylee's disappearance, which is a good thing to know that it's not just hearsay. It's pretty much confirmed by multiple sources.
Yeah, but Cindy and George Anthony said no, there was no fight.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't buy them because they're involved participants, right? So we're looking for unbiased witnesses, and even Lee saying it, although it was, I think it sounds like it was second nature. It was like
Don't you
he
bring my
saying-
partner
He
into
said it
this?
to a friend. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a little bit
Like,
tough. But having Jesse say,
How does that
"Listen,
look, honey?
Casey confided in me,"
Wonderful.
and also
So pop her in.
again, who wouldn't have known what
So-
happened inside the house unless they heard it.
They heard it.
Too much of a coincidence to not be true.
Exactly.
So I think it's pretty safe to say, you know, from a reasonable degree of certainty, there was a fight. There was a disagreement that night,
Yeah.
minimum, that may have gotten violent. We weren't there, but it sounds like it got.
Okay, so
I agree. I think they're definitely.
once I put like I'm gonna cleanse it, and then I'm gonna do like the black French part, and I'm gonna pop this on and see because we should be able to put a bit of both in, and it should set perfect. And if it doesn't set the way that we want, I'm just gonna cleanse it, which is gonna remove that, and then go in with a foil gel, and that will come off perfectly. It's just we're gonna see because if we can skip that one step, then we can really cook with gas. And then we'll be able to like after that add some of these sparklies and things.
Casey's like, there's nowhere to go. I can't
And the
deny this.
crumbs.
That's where I go to. And Cindy's like, I finally have proof, and you're gonna answer for this. So I can imagine it was a very volatile
Okay,
conversation.
so
Yeah, it almost sounds like. If
oh,
it was
let me actually take a quick video before I go in with that.
Photos and everything from social media prior to her conversation with Shirley, and maybe she was seeing these things, keeping them aside.
They're so cute.
And then Shirley just kind of like lit the fire in her.
They
like,
feel
"You're looking
nice. They look
Do
nice.
they? Okay, good.
Shirley was like, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, and she pulled out the, and that's when.
And then if I could have you put them tight, because I'm gonna cleanse them as well. So we
Clothes and stuff.
right, and then we'll bring this up. Yes. Oh yeah, you can do it to the side. Perfect. So they're framed.
Bite her tongue because she didn't want a situation where Casey was going to remove Kaylee from her life. But you know, for whatever reason, this was not the day. This was not
This
that
is
day.
not the
She's
day.
not biting her tongue anymore.
No, yeah. Once again, I can see how that would absolutely happen and boil over. Okay, so.
Okay,
so
that
we
was
know
a
that
too big of a
Cindy
zoom.
Had kicked George out, kicked her husband out of the house, and she planned to divorce him. She was going to be.
We don't want the. There's like when you get too close and you get the shadow. So I was trying to back up. Okay, let's clean this girly. This girly pop.
They were separated. And
That
Casey knew
magnifique
she didn't know about
is
it.
so
She
beautiful
didn't
on
tell
you.
her friends that her
The
parents
cops
were
are always focused on my friend's older brother and they never looked outside of that. See, sometimes the issue is they do focus.
She might take
Hyper
them
And
focus in
right
the wrong
on the
direction.
wrong direction.
But she would be kicking them out. So on the night of June 15th,
I like these.
Casey talked
I
to
like
her
Derek
boyfriend,
Lavaster
Tony
and
Mazzaro,
Stephanie
on the
because
phone for 80
they've
minutes.
covered
For the
cases
record,
like
there's
that,
no real clarity
where
about what this long
cops just
conversation
got narrow
entailed.
sighted
I
and
looked
it's
it up
only
everywhere.
focused on
When I
one
first started researching
like
this case years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
looked everywhere
way
to
of
find out
the
what was
case,
said
and
during that
they'll call it
conversation.
out and be like, that was
And
wrong,
there's
they messed
nothing
up the
I can find anywhere.
investigation.
They got off the phone
And
right
that's
around 1 a.m.
really
but they
great coming
continued
from
texting
someone
until
who
Tony
worked in law
called her back.
enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
You like own
3
up
a.m.
and say like,
Kaylee
no, they
slept in
messed up on
Casey's bed
this.
that night, which
They
seemed
did
to
a
be
bad
their
job.
usual
That was
routine.
bad
When they were
police
home, they
work.
would both sleep.
Yep.
And they
Casey's
didn't
bed
do
together,
everything
even
they
though
could
Kaylee had
have.
her
They-
own room and
thank
her
you.
own bed.
Right?
When Kaylee woke up
Saying that is so
7:30
important. I'm
a.m.
sorry, I know that
morning
area is a
of
little
Monday,
sensitive.
June
It's
16th,
fine.
right before her grandmother Cindy
You are
left.
one strong lady. Just wanted to do a double because I really do want to see if that polish is sticky enough, because that will be heavenly. But if this has any kind of stick to it, and then the polish has a stick, when I try to do that isolated to the, it's going to go all over your nail, and we don't want that.
According to the evidence, Casey had been up and using her
Okay,
computer
so,
for a bit
let
before
me-
she left her bedroom.
You
From
can barely
7:56
see
to
the
8:06
nails
a.m.,
that were like
Casey was
fixed.
talking
When
with
you
Right?
You can't tell.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, like you guys can tell, but we did some repairs, so I'm very, very happy with that.
I broke 2 of my nails and they need to be rebuilt.
Shot girls are women.
Makes
they're
me
not
so
girls.
happy.
They're usually over the age of 18, but they're women who walk around a nightclub. They're usually scantily dressed and they carry
Come
shots.
on,
This
girl.
is basically what they
There
do.
we go.
And like I said, Casey was sort of trying to help Anthony Lazaro with his club stuff, and she had taken on.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bounce from finger to finger. So, because this is something that's very precise.
Researching outfits
Yeah.
that shot
So-
One finger at a time.
Yes, so I'll start with this, pop that in, then we'll go to here. But first what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pop this in, and before we keep going back and forth, I wanna test that
Okay.
out to see what our game plan is.
Good song.
Right?
Skipping.
Favorite show: Drive Ups, Diners, and Dives.
So our baseline is about here, right? Because you want it to be as least, like as deep as your natural
Yeah,
white.
but a little bit
Over that, okay.
Just so that there isn't any like gaps of where the light shines through.
But George
And I
recognized
have
it as the
enough
one she
bed
always brought with
space
her
where
when she
it
was
doesn't
going to
really
work.
matter.
And later, he would tell the police, quote, "We just talked about going to work. She knew that I was going to be going to work that afternoon. That was just a normal conversation." End quote. George said that Casey was headed out to a work meeting. And
Oh,
after
she said they look great. You couldn't tell at all.
walked out,
Oh, that is
looked at
such
George
a,
and said,
that's an amazing
quote, "I'm
compliment.
going to see
Also, her
Sandy."
natural nails
End
are
quote.
so
This is
beautiful
chilling
that
to me, man. This is chilling because
it just
you know,
made
I'm
it
sure
a
we're not
dream even to
spoiling
fix
anything
the
for
ones we
anyone,
had to
but
fix.
Zanny the nanny does not exist. She's not a real person.
In the
So,
future,
this
I
is
feel like
a
it'll be a
woman
lot
that-
easier.
That Kaylee would have never met in real life, right?
Yeah, so I mean, or what are you hinting at here that is that Casey had Kaylee lie for her?
Yeah, Casey coached Kaylee, right? This is a woman that Kaylee never met. So Casey must have told Kaylee, go out and tell JoJo, because that's what Kaylee called George, Anthony, JoJo. Go out and tell JoJo you're going to see Zanny. So it almost feels a little
Wow.
premeditated at this
And
point.
she's
Where
two.
it's sort of like she's setting up her alibi.
That's so
right?
sad.
This didn't come from me that Kaylee's going to see Zanny. Kaylee told you that.
Yeah, the fact that she's bringing her in on her lies is, I can see why it's so troubling. I agree.
And chilling,
And
because
they just
if
sat
we
in the
believe
car.
what happened is that Casey killed Kaylee and then lied to everyone about Kaylee being with Zanny the nanny, then we would have to believe that basically Casey knew that when she told Kaylee to go out and tell George.
She's like, mine starts to curve really funky. Yeah, like there's ways you can correct that, but when it gets to a certain length with your natural nails, it does begin to inevitably give a curve.
Now, of course, Jose Baez is like, we don't know if Kaylee
I feel
actually
like
said
this
that. That's
one
just what
index
George
finger
Anthony
is
says.
the one
So,
that would
at the
probably
valid
do
point,
if I
Jose
could ever
Baez,
go
I can't
not
stand
really
you, but
wrong.
valid point. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
maybe if what Casey says is true and Kaylee died in the swimming pool and George Anthony helped her, hide it, maybe that was a lie made by George Anthony to the police. I'm just gonna give everyone the benefit of the doubt here. Otherwise, it is chilling.
Well, I will say, to even go back further, I have a little asterisk on my page right now because everything up to this point that can kind of be substantiated. But when you start talking about statements from George Anthony, I have to put the asterisk next to it because there's a real potential that he was involved in some part of this. So everything he says, when there's nothing to substantiate it, it's a little harder for me to just take it and assume it's the truth. So I'm writing everything down still, but again, I'm taking it all kind of with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because at this point, the testimonies diverge, right? Casey says one thing happened, George says this happened, and those are the only two people who are home.
Love Bunny VP. Yes, we are, honey. We had to do some
Right.
repairs, and we're still at it.
I mean, you can confirm that Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives were
Which they
was on
did.
TV
They
at that
did,
time. Yeah, that's the one thing I would have did. But again, if he's a cop, he would know that they're going to do that, and that's why he would say that, and he would have looked up the guy before saying it. So there are ways around it, but it's kind of like a cat and mouse game, right? You're trying to trip them up on something that you can substantiate that they're lying about. But yeah, I'm listening, I'm writing, but I'm also keeping that kind of filter on it. Like, there's a real potential here that George was somehow involved, and if so, he would have incentive to say certain things that he's saying. I don't know why he would say this. That would kind of contradict him being involved, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep an open mind.
Well, Casey was close behind Kaylee, and she told her father that she was going to work, and she may end up staying the night at Zanny's house because she was working late, and if she got back from work and Kaylee was already asleep, Casey wouldn't want to wake her. George said that was fine, even though neither he nor his wife had ever met this Zanny, which I find is to be strange because they were so intent. Remember, I'm meeting Jeffrey Hopkins, who, they thought Casey was dating him, and they wanted to meet him, they set up a bunch of dinners. But Casey had been finding a way to work Zanny the nanny into conversations with her family and friends since 2006.
I
So
can't.
that's really something that I think everyone has to understand, that Casey was telling people she was bringing Kaylee to Zanny. So that's 2 years. And they had never wanted to meet this woman that their grandchild was spending so much time with. I don't understand it.
I'm with you. I can't. No justification for that either, especially if your granddaughter, who you care so much about, is going to be spending.
Thank you, Leandra. Yeah, it definitely does.
Sometimes and stuff like
Okay, so can I have you to turn here? Is that the deepness that you were wanting? Okay, that makes me happy.
Especially knowing your daughter.
Yes.
Not making the best decisions. It's like, Casey, love to meet her. Have her
Come over for dinner like Jeffrey Hopkins, So at that point, George walked Casey and Kaylee out to Casey's white Pontiac Sunfire. He helped Kaylee get buckled into her car
Hi,
seat,
buddy. I
gave her a
know.
kiss, waved
It's
goodbye,
like,
and
it's
told her
late,
he would
Auntie. Are we
see her
gonna
later.
cuddle?
As Casey drove away, little Kaylee blew her grandfather a kiss through the window. And he had no idea this was the last time he would ever see her little smiling face.
That's so
It was the last
sad.
time anyone would see Kaylee Anthony, besides her mother. So for your records, this is June 16th at around 1:10.
I got it.
So we already know that Casey's not going to work, right? Because we know she doesn't have a job. So
there's
where
like a
did she go?
teeny bit of
She
black
left
there, but I don't want it to
Grand
smoke too much, so I'm just gonna
Drive that June afternoon.
buff that small
According to
part.
herself
But
and
how does that
others,
look?
She did not go far at all.
Okay, so we can pop that
Three
in.
phone calls
And
that
then
came
we'll
off
do a
cell
full
phone
60
towers,
seconds, and I'm gonna wait a second because I want to try to see if we get that stick, or if not, and then we can go right into the...
Tony, she spoke with him for 14
Oh,
minutes.
don't cry,
At
honey.
4 p.m., Casey called her friend Amy and spoke to her for 36
He's like, I want to
minutes.
get on the
And at
bed. I know there's too much stuff there,
Casey
honey. You
called
gotta wait a
Jesse
second.
Grun, the man who had once been the love of her life and her future husband, and now they weren't even friends, so why was she calling him, right? Well, Jesse Grun claims that Casey told him things were bad at home. She said her parents were getting divorced, and she couldn't live with them any longer. During this conversation, Jesse is sure that he heard the familiar sounds of Kaylee babbling in the background, the same thing you would hear during most of his calls with Casey. But if we're trying to use this timeline to figure out when Kaylee died, it's not really concrete evidence to use Jesse thinking he heard Kaylee in the background.
Because also
These
she could be
reflections
playing things, like she could be doing so
in different
much,
phone
sadly.
conversations. He could just be hearing what he's used to hearing. It's really tough to say for sure that Kaylee was alive at this point, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, as we're trying to narrow down the timeline, if it doesn't appear that there's any incentive for Jesse to lie to us, I want to believe him because it does, again, it helps us. It helps us to kind of narrow down a timeline, but I'm with you. It's possible he heard music or whatever, he heard the windows were down and there's kids playing.
He's in the car, exactly. There are all sorts of weird noises,
Weird noises, but I will say if someone's in your car, it usually does sound slightly different, if they're yelling in the background where
Even the
literally you
black
have to
with
tell them,
the
hey, shut up.
lines.
Calm down."
Right?
So
Doesn't it?
for the purposes of
Don't worry. So if you don't like this, like, we can...
tell me that
I like
later we
I
find
like the
out
way
Jesse
you did
was,
it
you know,
too.
lying to
Oh, I
Logan.
wanted to do the deep for you.
You guys don't have to follow my lead.
Oh, thank you,
Down here that it's
beautiful.
credible, that at
Okay, let's
2:52,
see. This is the moment of
Amy is
truth.
still alive, per Jesse Grubb. That's what I'm writing
Yeah, no,
down.
we're not
Obviously,
getting
I'm
these
sure everyone's
stick.
taking notes at home. If they're not driving, don't be writing.
That's okay. We can do with the foil. We'll still get everything we want.
So remember,
But what I'm going to
George
do
Anthony
is I'm going to
works
make
during the
sure
day. He works from
that I'm
3
really
p.m.
just going
to 11
around
p.m.
here because
So
I
on
don't
this
want
day,
to
the
go too
16th,
deep.
it seemed like
But that's
Casey
still
spent his
fine. We're
time
still good.
driving around
We'll be
the
able to
house,
do...
waiting for her
So I'll take your other
father to leave for work
pinky.
before circling back
Pinky.
and returning
Your
to
other
the house on
pointer.
Oak Spring
The
Drive.
other
Okay,
P1.
we're doing that.
Right? You're in the zone now. You're
There
like,
was
I'm
also
ready.
activity on the computer after Casey left the house and before George left for work. At 1:50 p.m., someone signed on to AOL Instant Messenger. Remember that?
I'm
That's
sorry,
a
honey.
blast from the past. So someone signs on to AIM, and then whoever signed on to AIM and whoever was using the computer, they went to Google and searched foolproof suffocation. And this is the search that I think you were talking about when you said the prosecution missed it the first time around when they were doing the forensics digital recording and stuff on her computers. This foolproof suffocation search was the one that was missed. But the interesting thing
That's
is,
crazy.
this search was done when Casey wasn't home because George hadn't left for work yet. And George, George claims she left at like 1 o'clock, and this is at 1:50.
So I think when you said, "Oh, you mentioned this before," I don't even think it was in the series.
That's
But I
creepy.
think you and I were talking about it
And
before
I think
we
from
brought up
what they
Casey.
worked out
But
is
just
that
for people who
she
didn't hear that,
left,
we were
and when
talking
he
about
went to work,
this,
she
this
came
case in
back
another
home.
series
Yeah.
that we did. It might have been Lacey Peterson. I can't remember. But from what I was hearing,
Wow.
when you do a search warrant, they have to be very specific. And it looks like they took it literally, the law enforcement part of this, where they searched the history for whether it was Google Chrome or whatever it might have been. They searched for Internet Explorer, but there was another browser, like a lot of us, like I have Safari and Google Chrome. They only searched the browser history for one of those browsers,
Yeah.
right? They didn't search it for the other one, which is when later they found this foolproof suffocation. Wasn't it even after a trial?
But I feel like it was after the trial, man. Like the trial was done.
So, just taking this as truth right here, like the
Sorry,
150
honey.
foolproof suffocation.
Oh, God,
I
that's
just had a
amazing.
quick theory
Thank you.
come to my head.
Sorry. I almost...
And it could be completely off base, but I want to throw it out there.
Do it.
So, based on triangulation of cell phone records, the cell phone coordinates, we know Casey wasn't home. And she was on the phone, Jesse could hear her in the car, etc. So, I think it's safe to say Casey Anthony was not home when this search was conducted.
I agree. And George Anthony said she wasn't home, right?
George Anthony said she wasn't home. So, and we know Cindy wasn't home.
And Lee wasn't home either. No one was home but George, man.
So, George, knowing that he's having these
Okay.
problems with Cindy as well, where she's
Oh.
not happy with him about gambling.
She's like, this is so satisfying. I realized I was like, oh, sorry.
Thinking without saying
My head,
it.
I just really
And
want to
he
make
might
sure
have
we're
been
getting
sorry to
these
leave the room, and
lines.
Cindy wanted to kick him to the curb too.
Because
because
once
she
this
wanted
part,
exposed
everything else is
all
so
his
much
gambling
fun. Like,
problems.
this
Could
is
he
the
have been searching
anxiety
this
station,
for Cindy?
trying to
Check
make
this
sure
out,
that
see what
these are
happens next.
perfect.
Alright?
Okay, again. Hey, at least you guys
First
know
of
I'm
all,
not reading ahead, not cheating.
Let me tell you that I do not think George Anthony has the balls to kill anyone himself. Well, hold on. Whoever typed in foolproof suffocation, they spelled it wrong. But Google corrected it. And then whoever had made the search clicked on the
Oh,
link
yes,
and
would go
searched
great with those. So their abalone shell foils, we're trying to go with that because our beautiful model here, that's one of her favorite jewelry items. So that's what's really what we're pairing this look
I know
with.
where you're going. Okay, yep.
So next, whoever was using the computer went to a page that said heat, pen, melt, disposable breathing circuits, and then they visited
Oh,
a
yes.
website about gardening. So Casey Anthony's
So you
attorney
guys, I want to
made
move this so we don't
made
get,
allegations that the
this is
person who
incredibly
did the search was
important.
not possibly
So this is the
Casey.
inspiration.
By George's own statements, she'd already left the house, and George was there
So
alone.
beautiful.
Jose Baez believes that these
I
searches
didn't
were
want to
done by
get any
George
of
Anthony,
my
who was known to be an avid
my
gardener.
paint on
And he
there.
also used AOL Instant Messenger very often. Baez believes that George Anthony was thinking of taking his own life And Baez has his theories about why, which we'll get into later. But I mean, if you think about it,
I think that's another one. I'll just have to
early on in
gently.
George's adulthood, he had attempted to take his own life. And if you know this case, you'll know that after Kaylee goes missing, George
That's
was
what's so
trying to take his own
interesting.
life.
Like, there's
Again,
like
he
a
goes to some
teensy
seedy hotel,
tiny bit of
and
product right there,
he tries to kill himself. So
but you can't see it until you put
possibility,
the.
the foolproof suffocation.
I don't know if I have my
With Kaylee Anthony.
my
As much
nippers.
as I don't like Baez either, I completely agree with him. Based on what we know, what we have here, not only that, I didn't ask you this, but the AIM account.
Yeah,
that
is
was
that
cited
a
to everyone has their
hanger?
own individual AIM account. Were we able to confirm that it was George's AIM account?
They didn't say that. I don't think they were able to
Oh, yeah, I
confirm
was
or they
looking
would
at
have
this
said.
one.
I mean, because
And I
you get
see a
it
little bit of
so like
the
I had my own
iridescence that
AIM
was
account,
left
my
behind
brother
from
had
the
his
soil
own,
you
like,
tried to
obviously
sit.
we didn't share AIM accounts. So I bet you, I
Teeny
bet
little
you
bit.
probably
I was
could
like,
have.
what is that
Maybe
shine?
law enforcement.
Okay, I'm probably gonna have to just take a tiny little file there. Betty, you're new here. Thank you so much for coming in, honey.
AIM is more old school. Yeah, for sure. No,
Yeah,
makes
that was
total
very
sense.
interesting. I'm like, what the heck?
Like, I remember we're hearing about him being suicidal in the past. You know, foolproof suffocation. I'm thinking suffocation of
Can I
another.
see your
When in
other
actuality, he was looking as a form of
index
suffocation for
finger?
suicide.
Possibly, yeah.
You know, I concur. I mean, from what we're being told, what we know, what was going on in the household as far as
Okay.
Casey's now considering taking Kaylee and leaving, and Cindy wants her out.
And George might be like, man, is Cindy on the warpath? Am I next? Like, yeah.
They had a huge fight the night before where it almost came to blows. Things are not going well in the Anthony household, and George is looking for a way out, exploring a way out.
But Jose Baez's theory does sort of, his theory at least, does connect to
Black
Kaylee.
is one of the most
reason that George was
frustrating
doing
paints to
things.
work
I'm
with,
not sure how much I believe that, but I do definitely
because
believe
there
that
is
foolproof
no
suffocation surgery-
forgiveness.
I don't
Like,
think it had anything to do
absolutely
with it.
no
It's just George.
forgiveness.
You know, he's
Gotta
alone
make
in the
sure
house
that
with
is
me,
extra crispy.
and all my pain and sadness. Yeah.
Oh, Annalise is like, can you do my nails? Those look beautiful.
I mean, additional proof that this was not
They
Casey
are
on the
beautiful
computers,
so
the fact
far.
that she was on the
Just
phone
like
with her
trying
buddy
to-
at the time. We already went over the fact that she was on the phone
Just
with
trying to
her buddy
unzoom,
at
but it
the
wouldn't
phone
let
with
me.
you. There was also
Could we
a
tilt
call that
here?
came in to Casey's cell phone from her father at 3:04 p.m.
When
So
I
this is
cleaned up
right
with
about
the
when
acetone,
it's
it took a little bit off the
Um,
side.
Now I do want to talk about this for a second.
That's why if it's like
because
micro, I'm just gonna use the file because it's like, we're just gonna lose all of those edges.
But Jose Baez thinks that
And that's
George
just gonna
loved
be
Casey
very
when he got to
annoying.
work, because this all fits in with Casey's version of the story, where Kaylee died accidentally, and then George told her, "How could you do this? Blah blah blah. I'm gonna take care of it." Because then
What do you
Casey
think?
said that later her father called her
And
to
be
say
mindful
her
that little
phone
edge I am gonna
was
get
and this
off.
call comes in at
Wonderful.
3:04 p.m.
Ready to bake it?
Casey's
Yep.
cell phone.
And then we'll go for the middle. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. She's like, that looks hard. Yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking doing the
Just
the
to
very,
so then
very
again, you're saying that whatever
precise.
happened to
It
Kaylee,
is
Kaylee
quite
happened a little
precise.
earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Casey's told to maybe go for a ride. I'm gonna take care of it, and that's when he calls her at 3 and says he's taking care of it.
Yes, exactly. Right after he gets to work. This is Jose Baez's theory, and this is basically what Casey says happened. That's her timeline, where Kaylee drowns in the pool. George
sure
finds
she
out about it.
changes the
He's
story a
mad.
couple
He
times.
tells Casey,
Yeah,
"I'm
she
gonna handle
does.
this, go and do something." And then he calls her right after he gets to work to tell her it's handled.
I mean,
I know.
can you poke any holes in it right
Now,
now?
right now,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I got nothing to say. I mean, it's completely plausible. Not only plausible,
I know.
highly
I
likely.
know. Like, why else would he be calling her at that time when she said she was going to a work meeting? What is he calling her for? He never says.
And I won't even say it's as likely as the other scenarios. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying it's the scenario,
No.
but
It's not.
You know.
It's not impossible. We'll say.
not impossible and completely makes sense.
Thank you for all the hearts.
You know, fly on
You're
the
so
wall
kind. I wish you to do my nails. Betty, you guys are so sweet.
is the fact that
You're
Jessica
definitely making my day.
already brought it up. Like,
Please, if you guys love this, if you could subscribe, and I will subscribe back.
people during that time, 3 different people in a very short period of time,
Yeah.
because she was trying to give herself
An
a little bit
alibi.
more of an alibi.
And you know what? She could have gone to a freaking playground and sat there on a bench, and all the kids playing in the background sounded like kids.
Yeah.
You know.
And why would
Oh
that
God,
She
that's
doesn't
so
have
creepy.
Kaylee anymore. That's other people could discredit her narrative. She had to stay in the car.
Yeah.
Because if she gets out, like if you would have told me, well, she stopped at a gas station, or she seen by any independent witness that's seen Kaylee in the car.
Oh, thank you, Grace. I'll make sure I follow you, honey bun.
Kaylee, so to just drive around in circles to make those phone calls.
Doesn't make sense. I mean, we can look at it and say she's buying time because she wants George to leave because she wants to go back to her house, right? Because she doesn't.
She's
She's
been
not.
there all day.
But she's not going any. But she's got to make it seem like she's leaving the house, I guess, to go to work because she's got a job, and then she has no place to go at this point, so she goes back home, but she's got to wait for him to go to work. I agree. That narrative honestly doesn't make any sense to me. Why wouldn't you just stay
You could
home
have you
until
turn
your
a
dad
little
to
bit
work
here.
later? The narrative of her leaving so that George could do whatever he had to do, and then he would call her later and tell her it was all set, and then she goes back to the house. Then she goes back to the house after he calls and says it's all set. That makes much more sense. But
Ooh, 12:50, right? 12:50 she left the house. Now around that time.
yeah,
I didn't know
So
if
she
you
left
wanted me to
2
turn
hours.
them
And
off.
listen, he had to be at work for
he had to be to work at 3.
So he
My
probably had to
heart
leave a
just
half hour
left
before
my
that. So you're
body.
talking, you're gonna leave for an hour and a half before he goes
You
to
see,
his
like, I
room,
used to have a client in healthcare that had
Already in the house
Parkinson's.
with him for
So did you
hours.
see how
Yeah,
well
that-
I
that-
worked
that's why
even
it
though
doesn't
you
Doesn't
were
make any
moving?
sense,
Oh
but
my
her
gosh.
leaving because he's
My
like,
heart
"Take
just
a
left
drive,
my body,
get outta
though.
here,
I
got
try to
some-
be
I'll take
still
care of this, and I'll let you know
so I
when it's
can,
done."
but
And
then I
her
thought
getting
you wanted me to
that
turn,
call
so
from
I
him and
felt
her
like
Oh,
going
it's
to check
okay,
and I was
honey.
like,
What's
okay.
the behavior like? Did any of the Tony
I just subscribed. Thank you, Annalise. You make it look so easy. Oh, thank you, honey. My heart is definitely pounding.
Nothing. She was cool as a cucumber. Nobody else heard Kaylee in the background? Tony or Amy? Nobody heard her?
Nobody said they did, but I mean,
Amy was on the call for 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't hear Kaylee once.
I mean, she didn't say it if she did,
Okay.
but I feel like that's something she would have been asked.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's tough for me, man, because I don't see the reason why she would leave for a couple of hours and then go back when her father left.
No.
I don't see
No.
it. I mean, unless they were fighting in the morning and he didn't want to admit it and she didn't want to admit it, but
He didn't say that.
I think
Neither
she
did she.
was
no.
looking.
So once George
Yes,
was gone,
I agree with
Casey
that.
was
Asked the neighbors
using the computer
later
again.
for
She
a
did that for a
shovel
little bit, and then at some point
she went on
shortly
the
after 4
computer.
p.m., Casey left the house again. She made 4 calls to her mother, Cindy, within the space of 2 minutes. This is also important because Jose Baez and Casey claim that these calls were made because Casey was calling her mother to tell her what had happened. And I mean, 4 calls within 2 minutes. That does seem like Casey had something she wanted to tell Cindy.
So do you want me to, like, bring this over more?
Exactly. Why would she call if it wasn't
I
an
don't know
emergency after
if,
they had that fight the
let
night
me just
before?
try to
I
get
don't know,
some of
man.
this over here.
So, you know, the computer activity when she got home. So Casey comes home after George calls
Okay,
her.
so,
Obviously only those two know what
First of
happened.
all, if you like that, just cure, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Pop her in.
Looked like it was just regular.
Yes, they're her real nails, Grace.
Talking to people. Yeah, nothing like crazy. Nothing out of the ordinary from her.
Isn't that odd though? As well, like if we're to believe
Ooh, we
that
got
at
it.
that point her daughter's gone,
Yeah.
you know, her daughter's deceased, she knows that she's no longer alive, and I'm gonna go hop on the internet, do some searching.
Derek, her daughter was gone. Her daughter was gone for 30 days, and she was out partying at nightclubs. And not one person, besides a very few amount of people who were with her, like her boyfriend Tony, would claim.
I
he'd
just,
seen her
sorry if you could aim that one down there.
Friday night once. Like that's the only like sign that she's upset about anything during that entire month. So I think, you know, like what her friend said. Remember her friend Michelle said she had the ability to press that button and turn it off.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
she literally was so good at disassociating and, you know, some might call it compartmentalizing, that she just acted like it didn't happen so she could go on normally, because that's, you know, what she, whether or not she had, you know, done something to Kaylee herself or Kaylee had died.
Oh, how is your day going?
That's
It's
traumatic
going really
either
well.
way,
Like,
right?
honestly,
you're
me
still-
and
your
Des have been
daughter's
having
gone
such a
one way or
great
the
time
other.
together.
You're gonna be acting some sort of way, but Casey, either way this happened, she was completely cool as a cucumber, as you would say, for the next
Yeah.
month.
It also could be in that moment, I'm just talking about that day, it could also have been that George on the phone said to her, go home, use the computer, like do something that can be checked. Like you're just saying you're in the home hanging out, but can't check that. Like computer history, phone history, those are things that are
Yeah,
gonna
it was so funny. I can hear George on the phone calling Casey, and he's like, Casey? She's like, yeah. He's like, this is Cop Dad. Cop Dad right now, okay? I need you to do this. Because this is what they're going to be looking for, you know? Because he was a police officer. And he would go into that mode, right?
And that's stop. Cop
It
Dad.
just again it's odd.
And have you
Okay,
turn it.
because where did well, I guess that would kinda line up. I'm sorry, I'm speaking
No,
out
you're
loud.
fine.
Our listeners are probably like, what are you doing? But he was also Googling, searching, whatever it was. I say Google, that's a
Yeah.
word now, but he was also searching about a possible suicide. So is it unrelated, or was he like, after I do this, after I just buried my granddaughter, I'm gonna kill myself?
That's what Jose Baez thinks.
Okay, so I'm not off the. Okay, I'm just again.
Jose Baez thinks he was searching that stuff because he was just like, he couldn't even, you know?
Yeah, he's searching that at one.
Oh, thank God.
It's about a
That's
day
why
after.
we do it one at a time. That would have been a disaster.
I do know some of this case. I know where Kaylee was eventually found. We'll get there, but it's not far from the house, so he could go there and be back in time to search that if he's now thinking like, this is, I no longer want to be here after that. This is the, okay, all right, well, okay. I'm with you so far.
Alright, so,
I apologize for the
no, you're fine. It's good to think it out because it is very complicated. Like, when something's not so cut and dry and black and white and you're like, oh, this may be something completely different than I originally thought, there's a lot that's, like, your brain feels like it's moving inside your head almost.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, after Casey calls
I
her
love
mother
your
and
client's
boyfriend
shirt,
to
right?
her cell phone
Is that not
rather than
amazing?
her boyfriend.
You don't even get to see it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of the tip there.
1 minute. Now, when you see something last 1 minute on cell phone records,
It's
that
so
does not mean
cute.
that the call was a minute. It was probably under a minute,
Hot
like 34
Topic,
seconds or
I would.
52
Oh, some
seconds.
Hot Topic?
But when cell phone companies bill, they bill by the minute, so they don't ever put like 1 minute and 52 seconds. They
So
usually just
they've
put
had
1 minute if it's under a
interesting
minute, if that makes sense.
t-shirts there, and I went
So
and
this
checked
could have
it
been a call that went to
Oh, they have
voicemail,
some
could have
really
been a call
cool
that wasn't
stuff.
answered, etc. 2 minutes after that, she called Jesse Grund again. This call only lasted for 1 minute, and then there were no calls from Casey Anthony or to Casey Anthony until 5:57 p.m. when she called her boyfriend Tony Lazzaro's apartment. Now, at 8 p.m., both Casey and Tony were seen on surveillance at the Orange County Blockbuster store. There's no sign of Kaylee. Tony and Casey rented 2 movies, Untraceable. This is a movie about a serial killer who abducts victims and puts them into like elaborate death traps. And also Jumper. This is a movie about a man who can jump through time and space and uses his ability to rob banks around the world. So what's important to understand here is that from the time George Anthony kisses Kaylee goodbye and the time that Casey is seen at Blockbuster with Tony Lazzaro, something happened to Kaylee because she was not with Casey when Casey showed up at Tony's house. Casey said she was with the nanny, that the nanny doesn't exist, right? So Kaylee's not with the nanny. Tony and Casey
I'm
spent the
just
night
about
together
to
at his
ask you how
apartment.
you feel
Kaylee's not
about
there.
it.
And then the next day, he skipped classes to spend the day with his girlfriend, Casey. Casey herself did make a brief visit to her parents' home on Tuesday, June 17th, though, according to her neighbor, Brian Berner, and her cell phone records. So on this day, Tuesday, while Cindy and George were both at work, Casey's phone pinged off a cell phone tower near the house at around 2:30 p.m. Brian Berner, that's the neighbor, he said he saw Casey back her Pontiac Sunfire into the garage. She seemed to be alone.
What do you think, honey?
Her backing into the garage was unusual because she'd always pull
And like, I know
straight
you're not
into the
even
driveway.
looking at
That's
the
what
other
Brian
ones,
Berner
but they
said.
look
Oh!
Casey wasn't there long.
Okay, perfect,
She
perfect,
saw
perfect,
her
perfect.
shortly
Okay,
after
that
she
makes me
arrived,
happy.
but not long after at
That
4
one.
p.m.,
Thank
Casey's
you.
phone pinged at a cell phone tower southwest of the Hope Spring
Annalise
house.
definitely trying. I
Location
struggle with some
was
really
Vista
bad body
Boulevard
pain,
and
so
South
it's
Goldenrod.
tough.
And this is important because this is
But
very
my
close
beautiful,
to the area
beautiful
where
client is
Casey's
being
body
very
was later found.
understanding.
Now, an hour and
Also
20
trying
minutes
to
later,
make sure I'm
Casey's
giving her
phone pinged
something
at a
very
tower near
beautiful
Blanchard
for
Park in
the wedding
Goldenrod, so
that she's
kind of
going
still
to
close to this
with
area.
her
Then
beautiful
there's no
partner.
activity on Casey's phone between 5:23 and 8:23 p.m. No pings, no texts in or out.
It
no
makes it a
calls in
little
or out,
easier when you know
which
the
most
depth of
likely
the
means
French.
that
Like,
Casey's
definitely
cell phone was
get
turned
like
off
a move
completely,
on.
and this
But
phone
it
does
is
not
still
start
something that is
transmitting
so
again until
precise,
8:23
and like the
p.m.
black
And when
is
it
so
was turned back on,
unforgiving
Casey's
that
location
Oh, yeah.
was Tony
like
Lazzaro's
one little
apartment.
mistake looks
Earlier that
huge
afternoon,
with black
Casey had also
because
visited a friend of hers
of how
named
stark it
Chris
is.
Stutz. Chris would later tell the police that he and Casey had dated for a bit, but the last time he had seen her
Oh,
was on
thank you,
Mother's
honey.
Day, May 17th at
Just
his
stop
parents'
with the
house.
ring
He
fingers.
said
It's
that
like
his
Oh,
wife
right.
was
We're gonna do the
When
abstract.
Casey
Let
showed up
me.
on June 17th, she did not have Kaylee with her, and she was also not driving her white
you
Pontiac
get a little
Sunfire.
creative.
She was driving her boyfriend Tony's vehicle, which was a dark-colored Jeep Cherokee with New York license plates. Chris said that Casey had just stopped over to say hello, and she didn't say where
Thank you
Kaylee
for
was, nor
reminding me
did he
because I
ask.
was just about to
Chris said
go
that Casey's demeanor was
into
mostly positive, but she
autopilot.
was upset about
I
her
was gonna
parents.
ask, like,
She told Chris
We're
that
gonna
they
do,
were
like,
going to
Black
divorce because her
Panther.
father was
You're
cheating
right.
on her mother.
I was
Casey
like,
said she was going to have to find
is
someplace
this
to live, and she told
abstract
Chris she
now?
was planning on buying a house for $250,000. So, do you want to talk about that timeline for a minute?
There's so much there. I mean, we can go back. I think it's more just to absorb what it is, and then we can kind of dissect it at the end. But, you know, there's a couple things, writing it down here, where I look at it and you think one thing, and then, you know, this timeline, these pings, make you think another. Because if you're to believe that the first thing we said as far as George taking care of it, quote unquote,
See, with these kind of designs too, once you really start going,
maybe later
start speeding up, but it's like there's everything's a process, right? So I appreciate you being so
There's
sweet
also
and
the
understanding.
theory, which is that this was all done by her. And so let's play that scenario, right? Like, let's say Kaylee wasn't involved, okay? This was intentional. Kaylee was
I also want to make sure I'm
Casey,
giving you something
okay?
so beautiful, so I don't want
she
to just
does something to her
like
in that
erase
period
and
of
then
time,
have mistakes or
then she makes the family still believe
like there's
that
beauties in small
Katie's
imperfections, but you want
She spends
everything
the
to be
night
as
at
concise and
Tony's
put
house.
together as possible.
the next day she comes home to grab some items, she backs the car in.
Sorry, can we have your
And I don't know
turn?
if we're getting into it, but is it okay if I talk about coffin flies here or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I won't go too much into it because I know it's going to be part of the trial and all that stuff, but there was a cadaver dog that, you know, hit on Casey's car later, right? The Pontiac Sunfire that hit on it later, that there had been, you know, this dog is specifically for
What are you
cadavers. That they
thinking?
hit on the trunk, that there might have been
looks
something
really
in
cool,
there.
Yeah?
that would be
Okay, one
dead
second. Let me
body.
just make sure the
In addition
edges
to that,
here are
there was
perfect
also
and everything.
coffin fly larvae found in the back of the trunk as well. And this is not normal for a car because these coffin flies are specific with rotting flesh. So these are all things that would suggest that
I love that they
was in
said
the back
that.
of Casey's car at some point. The
Okay.
question that I'm at right now, my head's kind of all over the place, is, you know, was it scenario number one where, you know, George took her car and, you know, drove over there, and maybe, I don't know how Casey would have gotten around because she had taken George's car for a little bit. My head's spinning.
Well, she had Tony's truck later on.
Back in 2 minutes, don't go away. Oh my god, you're so cute. Stop this. We'll definitely be not done in 2 minutes, so. But we're getting to the good part now, that the design is really going to come together.
Trying to get in the mind of some people that
Shiny
really
parts,
know or
color
respect for that matter.
parts.
So both scenarios are still on the table. I think this is why there are a lot of people that believe maybe Casey did.
And if you had to just put like one color polish on, you definitely wouldn't have got this definition, so at least we were able to do something fun for you.
If we were only gonna do one color for the base, I probably would have just gone with teal color.
This
Yes,
on her own by herself. Some of these
which I would
behaviors that
still
we're
have
talking
chromed
about
out and did
back
all
up
those
by,
things.
again,
Can I see the
behaviors
other
that
one?
would not really be altered, are suggestive of that.
They don't have to be
A lot
of
perfect, because you know
information
they're
definitely
inspired
have to
after
stay
shells,
focused.
Yeah.
which are all unique.
Okay,
So,
perfect. I'm just
I'm
making
kind of
sure. I
trying
don't know.
to
Some
figure
people
out
are like
because we really
super.
want to know
The French
what
parts,
happened when
that
it
I
happened.
get that part, but like when
If
it's like
you
a
remember,
creative,
I don't know if this is
natural
a small
analysis
little
would be
piece of
unique
evidence
in
from
their
the
own
trial,
way.
but they said
Okay,
that there was
thank you.
chemical evidence in the trunk of Casey's Sunfire that showed a decomposing body had been in there for up to 2.5 days.
That's right.
And when all those things were happening, that was Tuesday, June 17th. And so that would be, about a day and a half.
Yeah, would line up.
Perfect.
Again, it's not an exact science. I mean, I know it is a science, but there is a margin of error for sure. The fact that they were there.
Hello. We didn't go anywhere, as you see.
Go here.
Fly larvae. That's not how it goes. Again, it's from decomposing or rotting skin.
The next day, on Wednesday, June 18th, Casey returned to her parents' house when they were at work around 1:30 p.m. She backed her car into the garage again, and then she asked the neighbor, Brian Berner, if she could borrow a shovel to dig up a bamboo root. Brian said she took the shovel, she returned it about an hour later. She did not appear to be muddy or sweaty, She was in a normal mood. She didn't seem upset or stressed out about anything. Once again, Casey's cell phone pinged at or near her parents' house until 3:30 p.m. And then there was 28 minutes of cell phone silence
Ugh.
before it popped back on, pinging by the
Creepy.
Trail,
Sorry, this
located
is
south
actually
of
not
Lake
showing
Riverville.
anything we're
At this
doing.
point, Casey Anthony had not been seen by anyone
Her
for over
phone
48 hours,
pings
but
at
plenty
the
of people were
area,
seeing Casey,
forest,
except her
where the
parents,
body
who
would
she
later
seemed
be
to be going to
found.
great
So
lengths to
messed up.
avoid. On Thursday, June 19th, Casey contacted a friend of hers named Matthew Crisp. Matthew and Casey had gone to high school together, and he was working as a real estate agent. Casey got in touch with him to let him know that her boyfriend Tony's lease was coming to an end, and Tony was looking for a new apartment. Matthew told them to come by his office and he would show them some apartments. But before getting off the phone, Casey told Matthew to go to Fusion the following night, but Matthew said no. Casey also touched base with her friend Troy Brown. She sent him a message on Facebook telling him that he and their friends should all go to Fusion the next night because she hasn't seen them in ages, and she would be there all night until 2 a.m. So, in the days following her daughter's disappearance, no one sees Kaylee.
That
This
just
is
sounds
what
like you're
Casey
setting
is doing. This is what she's
an
busying herself
alibi.
with. She's planning fun-filled evenings at nightclubs and telling everyone that her parents were getting divorced because of her father's infidelity, which I'm not sure how true it is, but once again, there is some scandal here. There's some possible truth to this because a woman will come out later and be brought into the trial who claims she was having an affair with George Anthony.
Jesus, not a surprise. I mean, not a surprise at
Oh
all.
God.
Yeah,
That's why they
she
ended up
definitely
getting a
did that.
divorce,
He says she's
right?
lying, but she definitely did that. And you know, while I'm open-minded, I do have to ask the question of why, right? Like at this point, even if Casey had dropped Kaylee off with
Didn't
the
they
man,
end up getting a
you would think
divorce?
she'd
I
be
thought they
freaking
did.
out that this
so,
nanny
yeah.
wasn't giving her child back to her. Like, where's my daughter? You know, the nanny
Have
won't
to
give her
fix
back. You
that.
gotta call the police at some point. It's been several days. And we'll see in the next part of the series that Casey claims she was desperately trying to locate her daughter and get her back
And then
to
we
her
only
at
have
this
the
time.
thumbs, so we can go
There's
right
no
into the
evidence
design,
of
which
that
I'm
for
so
cell
excited
phone or
about.
social media records. It's also really hard to see where she would have brought Kate here when she would have done it, since her movements on the 16th showed that she stayed pretty close to home until finally going to her boyfriend's apartment later that night without Kaylee. So this is my theory, based on the timeline. If Casey killed Kaylee, if she was the one who did it, I think by the time she showed up at Tony Lazzaro's apartment that night, right before they went to Blockbuster, Kaylee's already dead, and I think she's in the trunk of the car.
Will
So the
somebody be
next
able to
day,
let you in
Casey's
when we're
driving all
done?
over. She's shutting off her phone.
Oh,
so that
thank
it's
God,
not,
okay.
Pinging for several
Just making
hours.
sure because
And
I
I think
didn't
that
want
she
any issues
probably
there. I do know
brought
we're
the
like
body
super
out
late.
into like the forest, the woods,
I think
or remembered where she had left it. Because then she goes and she borrows a shovel from her neighbor to dig up a
What did
big
he
boot.
say?
Since
And
like
I
an
can tell
hour
you
ago
that I
that he
don't
went
think
back and
Casey Anthony was an avid
someone
gardener
was sleeping
or a
on
person
his
who worked
couch,
outside.
so he
She
has
said
nowhere to
she's gonna come
sleep.
to her parents' house and help them
Uh-oh.
out with landscaping. So the shovel thing is definitely suspicious. So does she go back and dig a
And
hole
I think he
after
wanted to
where
ask
she
him,
left the body so that she can hide the body, better? She was only gone an hour.
he's outside,
Not long.
so.
I would like to know from Brian Berner,
He's
did she
definitely
get in
gonna
her
come
car
out to
and
choke
leave?
after,
Did
but
she
we
walk
still
there?
have
Because
a
the
little
place
bit to do.
where Casey ended up being found, it was, like you said, it's not far from that house. You could have walked.
I do think like
Everyone on YouTube, John,
this kind of
multiple times
thicker
throughout this
French
whole
is gonna look
season,
really
you know,
nice
you
with the
see
like
it
abalone
now,
shawl
also the mentioned
idea.
before,
Yeah,
maps
I'm
up
thinking
there.
about
You
the
can see
thumbs now
very
too,
close.
if I
It's in
want to
walking
do them
distance.
You want to do abstract too? I would love that.
Was Kaylee buried when she was found? Because
Luckily, because we're gonna be building this up so much, this one coat is all we need.
And it's black. And a very nice black polish you have, so it's like
Oh,
very
thank
okay.
you. It's perfect black, right? Because it is quite perfect. It's one of my favorites. My go-to is like a black mini. I love me some black.
Like one coat and
And I
it's
think that
not
uncovered
see-through at all.
the skeletal
Right?
remains enough
So
for them
delicious.
to
Like in a deep grave, though.
no, exactly. Well, that's because Casey didn't come back sweaty or muddy. Remember? She had messed up the grave. She can't even do
Yeah,
it.
some
Right?
have a
At this point,
cast,
like,
and
she's
it's
just so freaking
Or they're too
lazy and
milky, you have to like layer
you
them
just-
up. Start
You do
taking
something
them.
like
I
this,
hate
and
that.
you don't even want to get sweaty or dirty when you're trying to like cover up your crime. That's how completely unmotivated and how completely like uninvested she was in everything that she did. It was just like, what's the least amount of work I can do for this?
When I'm looking at a case, I always try to look for something that may seem trivial, but could
Is
be
Taryn okay?
an indicator of one way or another.
Me too.
It's insignificant. And for me, everything you said today, there's a lot of things that are really important. But the statement that George made to police, that Kaylee approached him, told him that she was going to Xannies. To me, that is currently swaying me slightly to the idea that Casey, I don't know if she intentionally did or not.
What do you think
but
about
Casey
the
was sole
pinky?
participant in Kaylee's death and ultimate
That
disappearance.
took a little longer than
Why
these
do I say
ones.
It's. I think it's actually a longer nail.
Oh.
Because when I was looking at it, I'm like, it's a teeny bit longer.
I say that.
Do you want me to go
If we're to believe
like
It's
take
fine,
some
it's
out?
fine.
that
If
George
it's
was
just
involved
that's
in
just
this,
how long.
It is
that's
just
what these
longer. Let me just see
officers
your
prepare so well for
underneath.
this, where it's like, hey, let's make phone calls, let's do everything we're
Just
gonna
make
do,
sure
use
the
the
other
computer, all that,
PC
right?
matches it.
Yes,
Have
1000%.
That he would come up with a better statement to police to support what Kaylee said before she left, right? Like,
I
if you
actually
go
think
with
that
the
pinky
idea
is just a
of
little
this
bit like
fictitious
naturally
man
longer because that
who
was your natural nail, not
he had never defended,
something I had to
Thought
build.
Penny was real then.
he could have thought she was real.
Yeah, my PC's
But
don't
I think at
usually
that point, if
good.
he's like, hey, we need to work on the story.
I was gonna say that like that's
You're gonna have to
gorgeous.
knock her off the name.
It's very
At that
long.
point, Casey might have said,
Oh my god, it looks like a
"The
kitty
name
cat.
doesn't exist."
Stop.
Oh, it does.
Oh my
Maybe she
god.
just didn't write it out, but I would think that
Kitty
to
cat,
me
black
sounds like someone
manicure.
who's not in on the scene.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Right?
It sounds to me like someone
And I have like cat eye
who
that's
doesn't actually
magnetic
know,
that like does that hollow.
and that's why they're telling that to police.
Because if you weren't gonna
maybe
decide like this route, I was gonna ask if you wanted to do cat eye because that's another thing that's like really dynamic.
one end of the pendulum a little bit more towards maybe
I'll
he
show
wasn't.
you before you
Well, it
leave.
also matters when he said it, right? Like, was it in his initial report to the police, and we're going to get into that next time? Or did this come out, you know, maybe later?
You can keep it
after
over there
she'd
for a
already
second,
tried
and then
to
as soon
point
as
the
I have,
finger at
because
him,
I
and so
don't
now
want
he's
any
trying to point the finger
movement.
at her. No, I didn't do anything. In fact, Kaylee told
Well,
me
I'm
she was
trying to
going
do the
see
like
Sandy.
super
Where'd
fun
you get that
lines.
from? You know, I don't think
Hi,
she has
Ava.
to be honest, so I'm on the same page with you.
But you're telling me that at court, the defense was that this was an accidental problem,
That's what Jose and Casey said.
and they're not saying, you know, Casey ever dropped her off with this Zanny or anything like that. They're saying, hey, listen, this happened earlier in the day. And my father and I got together and we kind of planned this out. We orchestrated this, but Casey didn't have anything to do with the disposal of Kaylee's body. It was George. And so all this other stuff we have, this tangible evidence as far as timelines and putting her in the
It doesn't
area
make
of
sense
where
because
Kaylee
there's
was
a
eventually
sticker
found.
that was on
That's
the
just
duct tape
So
on
check this out,
her
right?
mouth,
Because once
and
again,
it
the
came
time
from
of when they brought
Casey's
this up
bedroom.
was
Oh
trial.
my gosh.
Like they
For
found
that entire time that
her
Casey's being questioned by the
sticker
police and her
set or
parents,
something,
she
and
keeps
the
saying,
sticker
"No, I
was
brought her
specifically
to
missing.
Sawgrass Apartments. Like I brought her to Zanny the nanny." For that whole time, even after she got arrested, she stuck to that story for like
Thank you for the
over a
hearts.
year at this point. And then finally, the trial hits. The
I can't wait to do
prosecution
that
says their
now that
piece.
you
You
said
know how
we
it
could
goes,
do
and then it's
some
the defense turn,
abstract
and
magic. So like even see if we look at these two, this already looks like just like a tad longer. See how you have that with there to there? It's just like a hair. So with that being longer, you have that deeper. Because even if I take that in deeper, it's not going to look like that one because of the length. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. Usually
It is a little longer.
a little bit deeper, maybe.
Yep, I can do that.
Give the illusion.
Give the illusion, the allure.
CA has the answers you're looking for.
is tested by a certified engineer.
Mattresses are rated on bench support, motion isolation, and back.
Then they're ranked in lists like best mattress for back pain, best mattress for rock.
Because their piece, you know how it goes, and then it's defense turn, and the defense comes up, and there's this theory, this thing that happened that we've never heard of before, ever. Because for the whole time, Casey's been saying that Zanny the nanny has Kaylee. So could it also be that that was just a convenient story to tell the jury? I mean, turns out it worked, right? It caused enough reasonable doubt to have them vote for her to not be guilty.
Let me throw this at you so you can poke a hole in it, okay? So, what if everything's true up to the point where Kaylee leaves and says, I'm going to see Xander, right? Casey's out on the road. She calls 3 people. Jesse does hear Kaylee in the background. Okay. Casey gets home.
He really does
3
play
p.m.
the devil's
Could have been slightly
advocate.
before that because obviously
I like that he looks at
Jordan's already gone
everything
at that
though.
point. He has to be
He's
at work.
very
He calls
thorough.
her. But she could have been home, let's say, even 2:45, 2:40.
And
Right.
in order to try
Casey
to
and
be
Kaylee
fully like unbiased.
Casey's got
I
her
like that,
mind on
though.
8. She's doing she's on the
Stephanie, though,
internet.
she
She said she was doing
follows
some
her
computer
heart.
services and stuff when she got back.
Right?
They
Which
get
I also
home.
love.
He says, Mommy, I want to go in the pool.
It's a good
She
combo
goes
to
in the pool.
have.
Okay.
Sometimes they've
Drowns.
gotten into, more
Casey
heated
realizes
debates
what
here.
happens.
Oh,
He calls her mom
really?
4
Yeah,
times in 2
but
minutes.
it's nice.
Like frantic, what do I do? What do I do?
It
And
gives
that's
a
when
realistic view on
She
things.
realizes she
Mhm.
has to get out of the house because now she's screwed. She puts Kaylee in the car, not knowing what she's going to do yet, and drives over to. She calls Tony, calls Jesse, no answer. Then later that night, she goes and sees.
How
Tony.
is that
She's like,
looking?
"But this whole time, like you're saying,
Okay, pop her in.
Yeah.
Kaylee's already in the
So
back
what
of
I
the
was
trunk, and
thinking,
what I'm
so
saying,
we'll do the 2 abstracts and then the couple areas that have that little bit of peek through, I want to try to finalize those just in case I have to go in to fix it. So like for instance, let me see here.
cover up of her body. That's because
So see like that tiny area there? I just want to try to get a couple of those spots just in case if when I go for it, it takes anything of that away. So I can just make sure we all have that and then we can go into
that
the...
one, it doesn't have the edge on the side. I don't know if that was
Oh,
intentional.
I'll take a look at that, honey.
But if Kaylee drowned, why was there?
Yeah,
why
because
was there
that's where I was
peek?
like definitely double check before. And even if it's popped in an edge like that, we can definitely...
That is a question. Could it have been done so that when the body was eventually found, if it was, it would throw law enforcement off? I don't know. I don't know. But that's... What do you think about that scenario that I just laid out?
I think it's completely possible. In fact, I would even say that if this was done maliciously, if Kaylee was killed by Casey on purpose, it most likely would have been done at home as well. A place
But
where
why? What's the why?
privacy, no one sees you.
No, why would she do it? That's what I'm trying to get to. What's the reason in that moment? There's a fight the night before. I'm trying to get to the motive.
Ooh, I don't know.
There really isn't one. That's the point. There really isn't one. She wanted to keep her from Cindy. Because Cindy had threatened to take her. That doesn't make sense.
That's a theory, but a lot of people also think that, and I think this was the prosecution's theory, was that she just was tired of being a mom and she wanted to go out and have fun and do her thing and spend her weekends out, and this was becoming too much of a burden. I know it just doesn't
Yeah.
seem like enough.
After Cindy just said, "I'll keep her for you. I'll take her for you." That doesn't even for Casey.
I know.
That doesn't jive with me. Even for Casey, you have an out. It's not like she's like alone in an apartment with her daughter and nobody's helping her. Like Cindy literally wants to take Kaylee from her. So at this point, instead of letting Cindy have her, she decides. I will say
wait
this:
outside.
I'm fairly confident, unless we have some
I
aces
said
up the
that's
sleeve,
messed up.
that
He
it
has
doesn't
to
to me
seek
fit
this
that this
girl
was
because then
intentional.
she's not
That this was
telling
intentionally
The
done.
only thing that fits to make it look intentional is the fact that this bitch went for 30 days smiling, laughing, shaking her ass on the bar while knowing her daughter was dead. And I cannot fathom in my
How does that look?
how any human being could do that.
You just spent.
And then we'll do the other abstract poem and then show me that line that you were talking about, where you think it needs to get taken over a little bit.
But I would love to sit, man. I would love to just sit down with Casey Anthony and look at her in her face and say, "Listen, off the record, I swear to God, I will never tell a single soul. Just tell me one true thing.
Yeah, so like when you put them together,
What happened?
hopefully we'll have like that
Stand to tell
flow.
me, I swear to God, I will take it to my grave, but I need to know."
I talked earlier about lanes, about roads, and going down different things and kind of exploring them until you find something that prevents that from being truth. The scenario that I just laid out to you, where it could have been a situation where she got back around 2:45, she's in the pool, she's on her computer, not paying attention to Kaylee. It would only take a minute. It only takes a minute or two for this to happen, right? Right? Seconds, and she finds out, and then you talk about this thing, right? You talk about why this sense of urgency to call Cindy, who was just trying to choke you the night before. That would be a reason. That would be a reason to call her frantically.
Choke
What do I
you.
do? And then when she doesn't get the call, she thinks, you know, when she doesn't pick up, she's realizing they're gonna blame this on me. I'm gonna go to jail for this. I gotta think fast. And she puts Kaylee in the car, and she goes in. But again, just because we didn't see or anybody confirm that she backed her car in that day doesn't mean it didn't happen before she went out to
Do you want me to go this way
We have a neighbor confirming it days
and not
later,
have them both on the same
but
side?
it doesn't mean she didn't
Yeah.
back her car in that day.
Can
as
flip
well.
that around.
Again, that's
It
science.
flipped in my brain,
That's
but
science
it
with
didn't.
flies and all these different things
Actually, you
that
did
we
all
have
of them
in
in the
Davidoff,
same
like,
direction.
Did I?
Yeah.
can be substantial,
So-
so
I mean, listen, that duct tape was wrapped
Let me
around
see.
his face
And I realized
head
that
and
one's
head
also going that
3
angle.
times.
Yeah, they're both going
So
down
are
the
you
side.
saying
So do you
that
want me to
they're not
change this
mirrored?
one?
No, it's fine. If they're all going the same
George or
direction.
whoever to make
Let
it
me
look
just
like
quickly
you
see the
got
thumb that's
kidnapped
still wet.
by the nanny, and then the nanny drove her back to Casey's neighborhood and dropped her off.
I think at that point, Casey is realizing that she told Dad she was going to drop Kaylee off at Zanny, so she's thinking,
Make it go
how do I get
deeper.
myself out of this? And maybe at that point she thought it would be a good idea to say, oh, she was kidnapped by the Zanny, and then the body would be found later. She obviously realized before court.
Yeah, that's why I always ask. Like, I'm like, does it look good? Does it look good? Because once you get into the design,
I think that's exactly what happened, yeah.
But at the time when she's like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? Everyone thinks that she's at Zany's. Okay, I'm going to throw tape around her head. I'm going to throw her in the area where somebody may find her eventually. But at that point, if they do, it's going to look like she was taken and then disposed of later. But again, as her body was found, as she gets into a closed-door meeting with Baez, he goes, if you go that route, you're going to be found.
No, he says in his book, he literally says to her that at one point he sat down with her and he said, I don't want to hear this Zanny's name anymore.
Yeah, don't do
He
it.
said, she may be real, whatever, but it's irrelevant at this point. Like, it's not going to save us, and I don't want to hear you even say her name anymore. And I think that point in that meeting, he was like, we got to come up with a better story. So what have you got?
So they're sitting in the room, like me and you. You're Casey, I'm Jose, right? Jose, I swear, it was this woman, Zanny. He goes, cut the shit. Stop. That might have been what you thought you were going to go with.
oh god,
It's not going to work, I'll tell you right now.
not cut the shit.
What actually happened? You drowned in the pool, whatever. Okay. You gotta tell someone the truth. That
This
makes more
frickin'
sense than you saying
oily-
this fictitious person that no one has ever seen.
I never am getting this shit ever
That was
again.
it. We've been trying to get her back.
Damn,
I think
nourishing
Casey's
for
trying to
who?
lie to her lawyers to convince them
Not
that-
nourishing for me.
Million
And they have their own investigators.
Going
They have
with
their
some
own
alcohol.
investigators. But in the context
Annoying.
we're talking about right now, why the duct tape? Because when
So I can see the
this
shine,
issue
and that shine is all
happened,
oil.
that was the scenario that Casey had conjured up in her own head that was going to work. But obviously that was nipped in the butt later by her attorneys. But yeah, in that moment, why the duct tape? That would be an explanation for it. She was trying to set up a scenario where Kaylee was kidnapped by this nanny, later found. If she was.
But let me ask you a question, because
Okay.
this is so sad.
And you see how that alcohol just takes
They
that
found
shine
Kaylee.
right.
They said that
Right
her,
away.
She was obviously very decomposed, but
Damn
it was still
oil. Like,
here.
I don't know how
Hair
that could ever
stuck in
be
the
a
duct-
good thing.
stuck in the duct tape.
Because that oil is going to cause
One
lifting,
thing
even in
was that
regular
her
polish.
chlorine, and that would
Yeah.
tell them if
So-
she had recently been in a pool.
Great question. I don't know. I don't know if chlorine
Let me just try to cleanse this whole nail because I see some parts are falling back, and I don't want that to cure in your cuticle.
If I don't put more in about a week or so, there's no sign of chlorine. in the
Sorry, is that burning
The
you?
hot tub's so hot,
What was the
right?
weather like
So
for
it's
that
like
90 days?
very. I mean,
Oh, it's
warm,
okay. It'll all
it's
dry. I'm
hot,
just, I was trying
but I don't
to
know if it stays
really
in
get
the
that
hair,
saturated so
kind
that
of.
I don't know.
all
And then you can also
those
be wondering, like,
areas.
if they found chlorine in there, could Kaylee have been in the pool the day before? Or they,
Yeah.
there's a pool there.
Yeah, for sure. I would just like to know about the chlorine. Like, because there's no evidence that she drowned. That's the point. There's no possible way.
If she had been found sooner, we might have known because you'd have water in her lungs, etc., things like that. So that was the disadvantage.
Just trying
here
to
when you
scrub
don't
the
have a
area,
cause of
get
manner
all
of
that
death.
out.
You don't. So really fascinating stuff. I definitely want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's very
This
penetrating.
is definitely a different episode than we usually do. Some of you may hate it. Some of you may love it. This is a good episode as far as how we're covering it. But there's a lot of this kind of group thing going on. That's what.
If you're thinking about changing your career, I really recommend you pick a career where you can change other people's lives. Because in changing their lives, you absolutely change your own.
Thank you.
Recording this is stuff like
Let's
stuff
just
you and I
wait for
talk
this to
a lot of
dry
times
and then
we're
go
not
back in
recording. So
there.
you're just kind of getting the curtain pulled back a little bit
I
here.
was
But I
just
think
wondering if
I'm not going to have any of it cut out.
Pardon, honey?
I was wondering if that was intentional.
Weigh in the comments. We threw a
Does
lot
it
at
go
you.
in?
This dip
Write
here?
down what you're thinking at this
Oh
point.
yeah, do you want me to bring it over here?
There's a couple
If you
different
want.
ways
I can, sure, I can do that. It's not if I want, it's if you want, honey.
You could probably make both theories fit pretty well, but I do think if you consider
That was a
my
little like,
at this point,
I cut it off, I did a dip there.
Yeah.
So if you want
that
that
happened
more
as far as
up, I
why
think
and
that's
when it
okay.
happened. You know, as far as her making those frantic calls at
I
3.
just didn't
You
want
know, it's
the
not a lot of time
like
between
part
George
showing.
leaving and her getting there, but we all know it wouldn't take
I
long
don't know if it is on
for
the
this to
thumbnail
happen.
too.
And for Kaylee to decide to cover it up. And I will say the fact that George
Can you see it? Pop that in there.
this whole situation, but then she's getting a shovel a day later and going over that area completely contradicts it. Completely contradicts the idea that quote unquote George was handling this, and yet she's going over there with a shovel. It really doesn't align. It doesn't align. And for me not to believe, or for us not to believe Casey when she says this happened earlier in the day and my dad covered it up, he's obviously not a credible source. That's been proven time and time again. So when we're making our decisions,
I'm like, oh,
not doing
got stuff in your face.
my opinion,
It's gonna be so lovely when everything comes together. Okay, so I'm gonna try to perfect those areas. As this one's to fall away. So please don't. We need you.
That's kind of where I am right now as
I'm like, we can take out more, but we don't want to waste too
I
much.
think when we go over, especially next
You're
part,
so
the
cute.
parts with the car
It's like
and things
woman on a
like
mission. We've got both
that, that's
hands.
weighing up.
Okay,
That's when
so-
a lot of this physical evidence comes in. We're gonna have more to add.
So the last one, and then into the design, and then top coat, and we are done.
Be able to sort of hone down these theories and fine tune them a little bit more.
Yeah, and if there's something that pops up where my accidental death
I know.
cover up by
You can,
Casey
if you fall
doesn't hold true
asleep,
anymore, I'll say,
honestly,
there's
as long
nothing
as you keep
that
your
that
hand
was
firm, we're good
suggested,
to go.
especially, You know, I just can't find a moment.
Do you think it was accidental, no involvement by George Anthony? Because I even look at it and I say, like, Cindy Anthony couldn't have possibly known because Cindy Anthony's the one that called the police.
Wasn't home.
And she's the one that called the police. So if, like, Cindy Anthony knew what had happened, you'd think that neither George or Cindy would have gone to the police. They would have tried to, like, let it ride for as long as possible.
And I just don't know if Cindy would have covered for. I don't know. I'm saying because
I don't think so, man. Not if it was George, especially. That would have solved so many of Cindy's problems if she could just be like, George, you committed a crime? Oh, snap. I guess you don't get half of everything. You're going to be in prison. And I'll be free of you.
I think Kaylee, at this point, more than likely something happened at the house and going with the pool because that's the most likely scenario where it can happen fast. The fact that we have evidence that she was distracted. She can't be watching Kaylee and on the computer. Right? She was on the computer doing it. That's why I asked her, like, what was she doing? You know, if she's in another room or whatever. Was it a laptop? Was it a desktop? You
It
know,
was a
she-
desktop.
by the
It was a
room.
desktop.
There you
yeah.
go. So if Kaylee's out by the pool or playing outside, falls in, Casey comes out moments later, realizes it's only takes a couple minutes.
Moments later, that bitch probably came out an hour later.
And that too, well, we know that she made the calls right around 3 o'clock though, right? The frantic calls were right around 3 as well. I would love to know the exact time.
No, the call from George was 3:04.
What was the call, the 4 calls in 2 minutes? When was that?
Those were after 4.
After 4. There you go. After 4 p.m. And then she left around 4:19. She was on the road. Calls to Tony. There you go. Plenty of time. So we're talking, she had been home for almost an hour before making those calls to Cindy. Again, keep in mind, a woman who the night before had attempted to choke her and threatened to take her child from her. I don't
How's
think
that
she would
looking?
call her and say how you did while she's at work. Just my opinion. But it would make sense based on the
Okay, so then I'm just gonna perfect the small areas that spilled over, and then we're gonna go right into the foil and like layering stuff.
So the fact that I've said this before, we said it on Taylor Waite's case, although it's not exact,
Anything hurts, please let me know, because I know that these are very awkward
positioning
areas.
of the towers and how it bounce off certain towers. If it were closer to her home,
Are we still
it
in
might have
frame
been another
too?
tower in that area. I'm sure it is a
Oh, we
residential
actually
area,
are,
so a lot of
surprisingly.
towers. It might have showed
Thank you for
if they're
even
smart,
saying
I'm
that.
hoping they are.
And then if there's like tiny areas, once I do the top coat, we can go back in, but I just don't want,
And seeing
I
what
do want it
looked
to be
like
as seamless as possible
at
here.
Casey's house as opposed to where you
Sorry,
have the
tenderoni.
crime scene where the body was left.
They said that on the day, June 16th,
Yeah,
when
you're
she
fine.
first left the house,
Yeah,
her
I know
home
the
pinged off the
index
same
finger on
3
this
towers
one
that
has
she
that
would have
little
pinged off
hanging
if she
or whatever.
wasn't at home.
Oh, yes. Did you want me to clip
Okay, so
it
you're
with
saying the day
the
she left, they
the
pinged
You
the same
nippers?
could
house.
file
You're
it
saying
too.
Okay.
later though, did she not? Was
Thank
she not found
you.
more
The
southwest?
next day,
Oh,
remember?
yeah, that little
So
spot
even
there.
so, what I'm saying is, it's not as if she was at the location where Keely was found. She would have been off the same 3 towers.
No.
So she was not home.
Well, maybe she
trying to get
off
them
the
all
same
to
3
see them.
towers. But I mean, when
Right?
when her phone's pinging
It's just
off
the
of those
smallest little
other
thing.
towers, like on the 17th and the 18th, I think that's evidence that she's not home because they give us specific
Sorry,
towers and
I'm
specific locations instead of saying these are the same
It's
3
just
towers
so,
that she
like,
would have pinged off if she was
I don't
home.
want to
The
hurt
same
you.
3 towers, but we talked about this on Taylor Wright. There's different like
Triangulation.
Doesn't
yeah.
wanna-
tower, yeah, like there's different.
Doesn't want to
I want to
budge.
say radio
They
towers on top of it.
face like different directions.
Right,
Yeah.
there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
They're directional antennas. That's what they are, antennas. How could I not
They're
think of that
so
word?
small.
So on the towers
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah,
there's
actually.
multiple antennas. I want to say 6 or 7.
Because it's one of those things where I can't feel it and I don't want to possibly hurt you.
Those 3 towers, it could have been, okay, when she's at her address, 99.9% of the time it pings off Tower 1, Antenna 2, Tower 2,
Right?
Antenna 2, Tower 3.
It's
Antenna 2.
weird.
However,
Do you want me to try with a nipper?
Antenna 4, Antenna 6, and Antenna 5. Only for that time.
It's giving me like a mind F.
And so it's not an exact
Maybe
location.
like something
but it would
like
show that her phone is in
a
different
scrape
area
almost
of
to
that
try and like
triangle than it normally
push
is
it.
when she's at home.
I
I know that's
have
probably
this.
completely confusing,
This is a piece of
but I
like
tried.
gold
I
paint that
promise.
will not
But it would
leave
show a
this
difference.
corner
There's
here.
deviation,
But maybe
and
just
they can
gently
use
try
the
that. And I
result.
also
think
have
go
like an
back
actual
and
nipper.
recreate it where, okay,
If you want to try that.
sitting at Casey's house,
I can also
this is
just take
exactly how it
my
should look.
e-file and just do like a
If you
small
have a phone
buzz,
sitting
but
at
I
the
don't
area
want to
where
hurt
Keely was found,
that
this is
spot
how-
there.
And based on what you're
Just
telling me, it sounds like they were able to show a difference
lift
between
it
the 2.
up
So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
They were able to show
and then
through
see
maybe
if
a
I can
recreation.
file it.
Yeah, thank you. Teamwork, collaboration moment.
Times, and not those specific dates were different than if she was at the house.
Yes. Yeah, that I'm gonna look into that more actually, because I'm sure they went into more detail in the trial.
It's already
and I'll
looking
pull
so
up
good,
that
though.
day where they talk about cell phone
I think
pings and
that's
see
it.
if we can find out
Oh,
if
perfect.
triangulated
Thank you,
them
honey.
and narrowed them down.
Look, I was
Yeah,
being
they could be as
ambidextrous
minimal as
too.
they can.
Right?
I wouldn't
Ambidextrous
say that maybe
moment. Okay, so we have like a
that was
teeny
really
tiny
different,
part
but we'll see. That's my guess for them to be
got
able to say
filed, and that's why I
she was more
said like
southwest
let's do that
her
fixing,
signal was pinging
because
off
then
a
if there's
different
like a
antenna
small
on that
area,
tower.
you
It
can
could have
fix
been the
that.
opposite side
You can just
of the
cure. There's a
tower,
small
right?
dot there, but I'll
Where it's
wipe that
being on the
away.
opposite end of
Pop
the
that
antenna
in. So
where
is there
it was
anything you want
facing all
finalized
day
before
while
I
she
go
was
into
at
the
the
That's
house.
what I
design?
was looking
Now
for,
she's
see if
pinging
there's
off
any
the
other
south
like
facing.
hangnails
Yes, that's
or
important.
So
anything
same
else
tower,
that needs to be.
different antenna, big difference. Is that, you can tell me if I'm talking crazy
No,
right
it
now.
makes
If you're
sense.
not following me, they're not gonna follow
I'm
me.
following
know.
you. I just wish I had
Okay.
the answer.
Yeah, it is
Oh
directional.
yes,
Just
that
so
edge
it is
needs
directional.
some polish.
Bouncing off antenna 4 or antenna 3 does indicate a different location of that phone. So, and the experts can tell you that.
Again, I love this product because again, if
Good
there's
stuff. I
anything
mean, we
missed,
went long tonight. We
maybe
went
I
really
should
long.
get
We're not going to cut a lot of this out. Maybe John might clean it up a little bit, but you know, you're in our heads. So tell us what you
Easy
think.
to miss
Maybe you
edges
completely
like that,
disagree.
especially
Maybe you
odd,
agree. I don't
awkward
know. We'll see.
And at the
angles.
beginning
Sure
of next
is.
episode, I'm gonna go
That's
over
why I
the
always
cell phone
ask you
movements
as the
again
client
in
too to
a-
just
in a,
double check because
more coherent
two
version,
eyes are
just to
better
catch
than
up,
one.
because it wasn't a
Actually,
lot.
I'm gonna double check your other thumb to make sure that the edge is
Next
not
episode,
is on there.
recap the-
Yeah, we're gonna need to.
Yeah, we'll do
There's a lot.
No, I think we're good. Let's say that we will see you guys all again
That's
next
almost
week.
90%.
Hopefully,
Well,
nothing goes
99.
wrong until then.
Let's
Feels
get
like
that
everything's
final
going wrong this
percent.
week.
You can definitely
And
hear
then
this.
this
If you're listening to this, like I
here.
said, Christmas Eve right now. Enjoy Christmas tomorrow. If you're listening to this, we hope everyone has a good holiday. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we hope you had a. And we're out, like you said, we're out on Wednesday. Hopefully you had a good Christmas. I hope we had a good Christmas. I hope my
I
Christmas
can't
present
believe we're
was
on the
just
fourth one. I'm so
get,
sorry. I'm
shout
trying to
out
move
my YouTube.
quickly here.
Well, you're not getting what you want for Christmas, okay? Because
Halfway through the damn series.
YouTube is after us big time.
They're not. They're definitely
You did say it was
not
meant
treating us well for
to
Christmas
be.
right now. This is the
Right?
Apple Heart.
quite the event.
At the holidays,
That's
you
just
did?
what.
Come on, Susan.
And we did start a little bit.
We started a little bit.
Season for loving your heart, and all you have is
We
blood
had
for
the
crying
Northern
out loud.
Light intermission.
Right? Oh my
Spaghetti and
gosh.
Northern Light.
Spaghetti and Northern Lights. Just remind me, I gotta do a shape to the tiny corner of your thumb there. Let me plug this in. Thank God for this ring light. Honestly, my partner got it for me and it's just amazing.
This is a nice large one too.
It's quite lovely.
Oh, tablet needs to be tried.
Right, is it crying?
It's 3%.
Oh my God. It's like, no.
It's gonna shut down in 30 seconds.
Error.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Yeah, the precedent one that takes is the phone, because if it dies, then we're not going to be able to see this design we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the foil gel here.
Oh, you smell that one.
Yeah, the foil gel glue you can most definitely smell. It's a strong boy. And then I'm going to go in with the, you just aim down. Oh, I see the iridescent piece you're talking about. That's why I feel like the purples and all the colors are going to really like pair well together.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Let me get the mini striper. So for anybody that's doesn't know what we're doing here, we're just using some foil gel glue. So this one doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it. On all of this. Because wherever you don't put this foil gel glue, like the stuff won't go on it, which is okay because like we don't want it on everything, but we still want a lot of transfer.
Yes.
Because that's the whole point of making it look like the abalone.
I mean, even just with the black and white, they get so nice.
And again, if you don't like the abalone, then we can also just top coat and do all those things. But I think that this will really tie stuff in together.
I think it's gonna turn out great. The foil was really pretty.
Right? Okay, so let's just give that a moment to level because it is thicker. We could just pop your hand around. Yeah. And then what we're gonna do is 2 rounds of 60 seconds. So the foil gel we cure for 2 minutes, and that makes it extra tacky. So then we can just go in there and do all this. So while that's curing, I'm gonna do the on the other side. Let me see, honey. Yep, so pop that in. Thank you for watching, Maria. Okay, so wait, this side has not been cleansed. Like, I see a lot of shiny. Hi, baby. Thank you. You're amazing. I love you. She's throwing fire. Fire emojis. This is the final countdown moment. A little sippy break.
Got some good pics there today.
Oh, the baby's like, come on, Mom, let's lay down now. It's been a long day.
No, they're active at night.
Oh,
That's
really?
Their most active.
That's when they're active is night. Oh my
Morning,
goodness.
evening, and then when I'm trying to sleep. Whenever I start to relax and settle, that's when I'm like, okay, now's the time. But I did hear that when you move around, that's because they sleep more because that you're like rocking them. Your
Oh.
movement is kind of like, you know, getting them comfy.
So then when you're still, they're just like, Mom.
I think it's different for everybody, but I've experienced that, and I know other people have mentioned that too.
Wow. It's just something I never thought about. That's so cute. Did the hand go in for 2 minutes solid? Did you put it in for
No.
the second one?
They remind me.
I was like, I see that one chilling, but you might need some more.
My brain cells are
No,
moving.
so are mine. So just trying to make sure we give you as beautiful as possible.
Thank you.
I did see a little hazy bit going there. Hopefully that's not. Okay, so you can pop that in as well. Oh, thank you, Boundary. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so very much for putting our heart and soul into this. So we're trying to give something very beautiful for a very important date. Okay, so let me get out this piece of abalone. And then the other piece flew away. So I'm going to have to...
Oh, the rainbow ones?
Yeah, the rainbowy one fell, and we're going to need both of them.
I remember big distance size.
Okay, so I'm going to need full control here.
Oh, okay.
I know you're going to want to look at it, but...
I've never used or seen foils before.
No?
I'm intrigued.
So funny, because somebody was saying, like, oh, well, this is an awful long time for you to be doing this. And I was like, they're like, for this kind of outcome. And I didn't comment on it at first, because I was like, you know what? You don't even know. This is not the outcome yet. You have to wait a second to truly see. Look at this already.
Ooh!
Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. But I have to set a foundation, and if I can't set that foundation, then we're not going to get this beautiful... So some people don't understand that there's like a lot of process that goes into this stuff to truly make it.
And you're in pain.
Right? It's a very interesting.
Just the way it like shifts.
Right?
And then chrome on top of that and then sparkles like ooh.
Got all of the things.
Okay, that one's double.
Okay, so we can seal this. So we're gonna go in with the chrome, which needs a no white.
I think we might be doing chrome maybe just on the accent ones first.
So when I was saying with the chrome is like, you can add bits in here to make it like shine without having to actually put it
Okay,
on the
yeah.
base there. But I need to seal it in, so that's why I was trying to think, like, should I go in with a top coat because like the only thing that sticks like this chrome will need like a shiny surface like that. Baby's like, ooh, abalone.
Abalone macaroni.
Abalone macaroni. Look at that glitter. So pretty. And then I'm gonna just go to your cuticles and just make sure they're perfect in a second, but we're just gonna get this base on here. The abalone is so gorgeous. This is definitely gonna go with your dress. It's gonna pop.
I feel like it would go with anything I wear at this
Actually,
point.
yes, which is really fun. Just aim that straight down so I don't accidentally touch it. That's why I said, like, once we get into this stage, like, the rest of the design's fairly quick. But it's like you have to be able to set that foundation.
And rebuilding the nails takes time too.
Oh yeah, because I could have rushed that, but then we're gonna have thick bottoms and all that stuff, and it's just not gonna work.
And it wouldn't match my natural nails, it would just be obvious.
And that's what I wanted, was like a seamless match.
Appreciate you taking the time to do that too.
Yeah, of course, honey. Yeah, this is like the business. Looks really beautiful. The two different foils are just like the chef's kiss. You're definitely gonna have a new personality.
Good. I should be feeling myself.
Right? You deserve to feel yourself. And then definitely before baby comes, we can do something shorter that, like, you know, makes you feel good, but in the same aspect.
Not poking them and not getting stuff, gross things
Underneath.
Under my nails. Yeah.
You said it, girly. What do you think?
Beautiful.
Did we do double bakes on that?
Yes. It almost looks like fireworks
Oh,
too.
right? Baby actually said you did such a beautiful job shaping them. The line work is seamless. Oh, thank you.
It is in French, like crispiness.
We wanted to make sure that it was extra crispy. I also like as you progress, because of the areas that inevitably get like taken away, it like seamlessly starts to get patchy, which is really nice because then I can layer it with the others.
The
Oh,
pearl
yeah.
and stuff and the
Ooh.
glitters.
And this won't go like anywhere except for where there's more stick. So it just kind of makes it all like holistic. Yeah, that looks so cool.
I don't know if his thumbs done or not, because it looks really shiny compared to the other thumb.
I don't think we did either of the thumbs with the glue yet. I think we only did your 4
This
fingers.
one just looks extra shiny compared to the other one. I was like, huh.
Because it would be sticky, like, if it had it on. It would be sticky, like it's like glue.
See?
Yeah, so that one got white, but that one didn't get
Okay.
cleansed. That's what it is, it's the cleansing
Oh, okay.
that takes that shine. Oh my gosh, I don't know if the camera's letting... I'll try to turn this down a little bit.
Photos are kind of far away now.
Right? Fly away home. Do you guys see this beautiful shine there? Yeah, they would have charged you like a freaking leg and a half for this kind of design, like with foil, and they charge individual for design, which would be like your French, and then foil is extra, and then chrome is extra. So they would have $5 and $15 you to death.
Lucky I met you.
So good to have friends in high places.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I encourage a tip, but besides that, no.
Oh, I will tip you. I will give you meat too if you like.
You are so cute.
That's what Curl always is saying.
Tip you with meats.
It's expensive. So.
Meat is so expensive. We've hosted some dinner parties, and you definitely have to look at that because it's like, whoo.
It's a good gift to give. I mean, even when we met with Adora, we gave her some canned elk. And we hadn't even selected her yet. We were just meeting her to like interview her.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Curl was like, oh, let's give her
We
a
actually
gift.
just had a little drip happen here. It was just a... I just saw it. I was like, where the heck did that... Oh, I put a little extra on here. I'll have to just wipe that before you cure. We do not want that curing on your skin.
Oh, jeez.
Bubba's really active.
Yeah, it felt like a foot or something.
Oh my gosh.
Something really poked out. The bigger they get, the stronger they are. I can feel a lot more of their
Mm-hmm.
body parts.
Oh wow. You're like, I can feel a foot.
I think it's a foot.
Oh my gosh, Boundary said it's iridescent.
It is.
Yes, it is. And just give me a second. I just need to quickly do the cleanup. Make sure there's nothing curing on your skin.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of things. It's like I'm doing like abalone shell,
Mm-hmm.
fireworks, and
Well, it is for your main event, right? So it's not a bad thing. Place these 2 fingers down.
I'd say these are very important. That mother-in-law is sweating.
Mm-hmm. Gotta put your best foot forward.
A lot of family I've met, but there'll be more that haven't. So
Yep.
good to bake.
Good to bake. Okay, so this has the top coat, correct? Okay, so
thumbs.
yes. Let's do the thumbs, and then we'll go into that final part. Cure time, Buckspurt. Oh my gosh, yes.
Cooking them.
We're doing the cooking. And then we're just adding a couple glitter defining moments and maybe some chrome and we'll be all done. This foil gel is like amazing. But this isn't a regular thing for them. They only have it in their advent calendar. Okay, so we gotta wait a moment for this to level out because I swear you can see all the grooves and lips and all the things. We'll cleanse that.
This one to level.
To level, yeah. Because it's, it don't want to level. It's thick. I think it's because it's also blue. I think you can pop that in now. A little bit's okay because when you're putting that abalone, you get like that kind of pattern, but you don't want it to be so viscous that when you apply it, you get like lines and things like that because that just doesn't look good.
Yeah, imagine
Oh.
that would look chunky.
But like, do you understand why? I just saw it fly in here. Do you understand why I wanted to do a black base now?
Yeah.
Because it adds the dimension to the abalone, and if I did, I could have done a couple other colors, but they would have had to be dark as well. See, I'm not about to kill a bug. I disinfected that. I wasn't gonna touch you. That's horrible. Something flies in because there's
Bug gloves.
right. There's no what's it called? Like mesh.
No, I've noticed you're very sanitary. You've been changing your gloves anytime there's cross-contamination of any sort.
Oh yeah, I don't play around because like your health is wealth, right? I don't want anything to happen, and also because like there could be small things like micro tears or stuff like that, and I don't want a chance to enter any infection or anything like that. So I try to work like very, very, very clean. So I am definitely going to talk to Madame Glam because this is like 90% Madame Glam about these because I used like a crap ton today, but they're it's like $20 a box. It's quite hefty. Okay, so you can pop that in, and then once we finalize that, actually remind me, I just want to take that in, just file that little lip.
Wait, didn't these need to be double baked?
Yes,
Okay, I didn't do that.
that's okay. It's not a problem.
Just
Okay, let's
remembered.
get these out. Hey, don't you move. You stay there. It really did end up looking like fireworks, if you guys see that. It's like pop, 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 pop. And then let me just load these on. So these are the peacock gels. We might not even need much of it because it's so gorgeous.
I was thinking doing like lines throughout the detail.
I can
brush.
do a little, like do some lines with the detail brush with it. It's like a flake, so it is a little chunky, but I'll still be able to get some.
lines, or you could do like rounded, wavy type lines to go with the curvature of like some of the accent nails and stuff. Look really cool.
I will, let me clean this guy here.
Okay, so that one I think has been twice, and then this one
Perfect.
go again. Shininess.
Right? So shiny. Look at that. Let me see if I turn off this light here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to keep that light off. You can really see how shiny it is. Okay. your other thumb for a second.
So nice.
When you have that bigger canvas too, you can really. Sorry.
I'm distracted. Admiring you.
Like, ooh.
Now I have a crow and a raven in my life.
Yes.
And I'm definitely on that vibe too. I'm like shiny.
Right? I'm a magpie man. Show me all the shiny things. Okay, so if I could have you, yeah.
Getting the pen and drill of things. Also just getting more sleepy, so now my brain is like
You're like, yes.
reacting
okay.
slower too.
I feel that on the sleepy front. I'm trying to move quickly, honey. Just think of that Moana song. So shiny. Like, there's no way that these aren't strong after all these.
Oh, I already know these are not gonna break. Like I have good faith now.
But do you know what I mean? Like, when we were looking at that one divot, and I was like, if we keep going with all the like layers and everything we're gonna do, you're gonna have that strength. So just upturn that one to the other side. Envy, nice to have you. You're like, ooh. You're so cute. Did you think they were gonna turn out like this?
Well, yeah, but like it's just
Seeing it in
yeah,
person?
it's different seeing it in person.
Let me see them. And then the thumb. Okay, straight down. So you're like, I want to look at them.
You got me. I also don't have the podcast anymore to distract me.
Right?
So now I'm just like really invested
Go ahead,
in it.
pop her in. You're like, now I'm hyper focused. I'm doing good, honey. We are doing these special. Do you want to show your abalone? Definitely have to when I take a picture with you holding that. Oh my god, just have a look at this. How seamless this is right now. I did good. That's crazy. One second, let me see if I can take a picture of that. That's insane. Did you see where I put my other phone? Oh, it's right under there.
I was gonna be like, there's one under the butterflies.
Oh my god. That is so cool.
It'll look really nice though, I know, with like the chrome and the pearl and the little glitters and stuff.
So pretty. Okay, so. Oh, thank you. They're just having a look at it. Okay, so I still have to top coat the other thumb. That one didn't get top coated. That one got top coated. This one didn't. I actually did good remembering that. Thank you, Envy, honey. Stan, you are so sweet. It's our nail sister. It's funny because you look at this and you're like, how the heck do you even achieve this? If you were just looking at it, you wouldn't know that that was all foil and everything else.
Really nice foil that goes with the theme too.
Very much so. And I'm just gonna have you.
You could even see it could be like 80s style too.
Oh yes, yeah. Very much so. So just turn that over. And then we'll work on, I'm gonna add the, like, look at the chrome first, and then put in, because I'm gonna have to seal that as well, and then go in with like these guys, and then do the final coat and everything else. But since we already
You'll be
have the chrome,
sick by then.
right? Like that's why I was trying to work very thin, and also why I was saying like in certain areas that we're good, because the moment that you start like adding the tips and everything else, like that builds out some of your apex, your strength, your, you know. Okay, so these ones are for Born Pretty. I'm just going to give them a shake. What did you use to blend those colors? I love the look of it. So this is actually, we used these two foils. We did a black base of the Perfect Black, if I find that, which is amazing, from Madame Glam. And we had the Nude Magnifique. And then we went in with the foil gel glue and topped it off with these two girls here that are very like iridescent, and the abalone to match the beautiful abalone. Okay. So this is purple and green. Yeah. Oh wait, we've got pooling now because of the upturn. It's okay. I just have to fix it before you put it in. That's why I said like sometimes like that, like when you're looking at it, it actually allows the gel to flow. So we want to stop that. Or you won't have like perfect cuticles. They won't be snatched.
And then you'll be prone to chipping and peeling up.
Well, luckily because we sealed everything, it won't be like as bad, but you still have risk. You can pop that in. Okay,
Especially
so
if
if I see,
oily prone.
yes. If I see the other, honey, just your base hands here.
What kind of scent to them, huh?
Yes, they definitely do. That's the dehydrator. Let's just give that a second to dry. The dehydrator is, how do I say it? It's similar to an alcohol base. I'm actually just gonna take a sponge out of my Madame Glam box. It works really well if you don't have like the makeup sponges. You gotta be crafty.
Yes, it's a good skill.
Honestly, it is such a good skill. Like, look at that. That's hilarious from where it fell. That's all chrome. So do you see how we get that extra pearlescent if you look up? See how it gets to be shiny? So we just want that on the tips. And then I can go in with those individual lines like you were talking about with the sparkle. But I also don't want to take away from some of this dimension that we're getting. Okay, so we don't want to bulk that out again, so we'll go in with the base coat.
I could compare it.
Is it over there? Once I put the top coat or the base coat, when you're going to see the shine, you won't be able to see how shiny it is. Ooh. There we go. It's gone. Okay, I need the light for a second. It's not as good to see the design, but I need it.
Oh, do you think we could do more pearlescent on the accent nails?
Sure, like a full over the whole thing?
Yeah, because you mentioned that and it would be more like sheer on the nude part, but I feel like it would look interesting.
And this is also because of the chrome, you're gonna have little sparkles in the
Oh, that's
the nude.
looks pretty.
So just so that you know. Okay, so you said on this one you want the full thing chromey? I just saw a little fuzz in there. That's the evil fuzz I was talking about. Just quite evil.
We don't have dryer sheets.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Are you gonna add the chrome after?
So the chrome I'm gonna have to add to it. This has to be a top coat.
Okay.
So this one nail I top coated, but the rest are all based. And then if it doesn't apply the way we want it, I'll just cleanse the nail because sometimes it needs that like perfect smooth surface to. There's like a little divot there just because of the. Should even out with the other top coat, but you know, like the bump of the abstract. They had just a tiny. Okay, and then this one because we're just gonna add. And you're gonna see like with the lines if you like it or not, with the sparkle. And then if not, we can just top coat.
I have a feeling I'm not gonna dislike the sparkle.
Oh my god, you're so cute. You're like, I feel strong in my heart. It's gonna be nice.
Extra bling, extra sparkles.
Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Well, one thing that's a bane of my existence is anything going on to the skin. Just like, don't do it, please. I'm trusting you. Product. Go ahead and actually just tip her for a moment and then we'll pop her in. And then I'll do the same thing with the all base coat and then top. And I'll send you home with one of these. So if there's any small areas with this black, you can just, it will all be gone.
I have a file.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
You have a file and buffer? I think that will be good. And then this guy.
And a travel sized one.
Oh, okay.
It might be nice. Especially if you used it on me and you're just gonna throw it away after.
Oh wait, this one is we did all this the top coat, right? So I haven't put the chrome on there yet. So let's cleanse that spot. And then we can start with the other ones first. Oh, I'm so sorry. Of course that would be the one that we have to cleanse over. Do you know which color you want for your chrome? Do you like the little bit of more purple or do you want a mixture of both?
I think the mixture of both looks really good. I mean, even before you sponge it out, like even that is like, ooh.
You
so
love
nice.
that?
Yeah.
Really? You want me to leave it like that?
Well, you didn't do it on this hand, so.
Okay, I can go back if you want. Oh my goodness, of course all this chrome just pooled in the corner. It's like, I want to all be chrome. Make it chrome adventure.
It's taken over.
So do you like this more? Like the thicker chrome bits?
I mean, I didn't really get a chance to look at it before on this hand.
So when I buff it and blend it out, it just kind of gives like an iridescent finish.
Yeah, I kind of like that more actually.
Okay. Because it's just like a slight like shine to it with the pearlescence.
It's so pretty, you know. It's just like, there's so much of it. It looks so nice.
That just makes me so happy.
Yeah, but then I looked at it a little closer and I realized you can't see all of the foil underneath.
That's the thing, when
Yeah.
we go in with the chrome, it's going to, of course. But when you look, like the moment you top coat or have any kind, you can see
You
the
can still see the
definition
detail.
in there. Oh, they're so pretty. Thank you, Grace. I can't wait to cleanse your hand after this too and get some of this out of the corners of your nails.
That chrome stuff
We
does
were going
smell
for the
nice.
abalone. You're like, ooh, I like the smell of this.
I'm glad you used gel and not acrylic, otherwise I don't think it would be safe for me.
It wouldn't be safe for you.
No.
So that's why I was actually so excited that you wanted a natural gel manicure, because acrylic and all of that.
And you're allergic too. So.
Mm-hmm. So it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, nothing too harsh chemical-wise good for me right now.
No. That's what I love about gel, is that you don't get those fumes. And we didn't have like crazy filing, so the dust was minimal. And if it was something that was going to be a lot, I would have given you a mask to also wear. Like if I was airbrushing. Hi, Sade! Thank you so much for joining. I actually just realized I went in like so excitingly with this base coat, but that one nail is supposed to be the top coat because we want that chrome. I have a feeling it would stick anyway, but let's just remove it. Just in case, and do it how we're supposed to.
Trying
Jeez.
to get into position.
Take the phone, right? Get into position. I feel like I just got touched with one of your nails, so I'll have to double check that that didn't smudge anything. I'll have you aim this downwards a little.
Yeah, it's a little challenging to put your hand in certain positions when you're not used to it.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I can't help my pinkies doing that right now.
Like the shine on this.
Yeah, I feel like these will look good with anything I wear.
Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, now let me just make sure with the alcohol here. Just let me have them.
Oh.
What happened?
I noticed on this hand, it's like bubbles.
Ooh, look, we'll have a look at that quickly and see. Maybe we had some separation because of that damn oil cuticle thing. Okay, so let's... Oh, wait, turn that around first. And then we'll have a look. Which one is the bubbles?
Just like the texture on top. I just noticed.
I wonder, did that get hit or something? It's actual bubbles.
But like the other, couple of the other ones were like that too.
What the heck?
It's like one of the products didn't cure correctly or something.
It's separated. Well, once I go in with the top coat and stuff like that, you won't be
Yeah.
able to see that. But
But
that's
that's
weird.
odd, right?
Very odd. Let me see. You can pop that in. Let me see the ring finger. That is so strange. Again, do you want to know? I really have a feeling it's that freaking I'll just scream the
I
bane
think
of
the
my.
ring finger's the only one without that. Actually.
So it's
Yeah.
the base coat.
The pinky does. The pinky has bubbling. Yep, the middle finger and the index finger.
It's the base coat. The base
Yeah.
coat's been contaminated with whatever's in that that oil stuff. That's why I said oil is so. Look at my hands, like Edward Cullen. Look like a vampire, a sparkly vampire. I'm gonna put the top coat and just double check. If not, we can give a light buff. But that's why it's so important not to get anything with oil near, because look at that. Did that one do the same thing? Because they're like perfect circles, which is like strange.
Yep, it did it.
It did it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it only did it to the middle finger and the pinky finger.
That's so weird.
It doesn't look like the index finger was affected.
That's crazy.
Watching it spread is so satisfying.
Right? So satisfying. Are you the person who's doing the nails or the one getting the nails done? I am the person doing the nails. Let me just also put some little. You're so cute. Come on, give me something to work with. And of course it's dripping everywhere else. It's not. They've actually changed their bottles now. They're so different.
Because of that?
Yeah, because of the drip, and also they're having an issue where it was evaporating. Thank goodness we have a design that's forgiving with those circles. Okay, so we're not having as much chrome transfer as I want, so I'm going to try to wipe that. I don't know if maybe the solution is too thin now. I'm just going to try my fairy chrome here. Just have a double look. This is like a thicker girl. Oops.
Oh wow.
You see that? And then I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to wipe these. They're trying to have all of the glimmer and the glitz.
I'm tempted to allow them.
I think it's just me. I like the nails. Oh, no, I don't think it's just you. I think a lot of people that are fans of nails will like these. Isn't that chrome fun?
Yes, it's so pretty.
Okay, so I'm going to take this just to make sure.
It almost enhances the tip too. Like it makes it look like real abalone with the tip.
Because of the pearlescent.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying the other chrome, this is too diluted, I think, at this point.
It mutes
So it's
the
like a
black.
light. Let me do the top coat here.
It's muting the black, but not taking away from its depth too, which really is so beautiful.
Okay, so I'm just gonna grab your hand a little closer to me.
I have to lean in more.
Yeah, lean in, my dear. Okay, so that one's gonna go in the cure, and then I'm gonna just do what you wanted with the sparkles, and we can kind of go from there.
Whoa.
Do you like that? Okay, so just have your hands down. Just want to make sure. So any areas that I don't fully encapsulate this, that will like go away. So we want to make sure we're being very precise.
I'm kind of wishing we'd used that chrome on the tips of the other ones. It really is stunning.
Let me see. So put that on there. And
You
then,
did?
yep. And then let me see the other hand. I don't know if because, let's just see. Really wants to stick in that spot. I'm gonna have to wipe that. It's like it wants to stick up there.
Oh. That's because of the holes, I think, right?
That's great.
Those
Yeah,
Weird bubbles.
those
that form.
weird, right? That's okay. Once we do the top coat, we'll be a-okay.
Just to straight into the chrome water.
I know that would have been so bad. So do you like this with the like the darker?
They're all so pretty.
No, that's the whole nail. We want that one.
All over.
So do you want me to put that on that one as well?
And the tips of this one?
Yeah, like the tips.
Yeah. And then just wipe it from the accent ones stand out more. I'm kind of looking at that one's snowflake too, the patterns in it. It's so pretty.
Oh. Okay, so we're happy with that. So just we'll give a second for things to dry and then I'll go in with the. So do you still want me to go in with the sparkles as well?
I feel like now it's like, I don't know, I don't want to be difficult, but it feels like it's covering up some of the
Oh.
patterns underneath.
Yes, so it's going to do that. So I can go into certain spots here and take some out.
Just a little
But that's
bit.
the whole part. If we're putting chrome on top of it,
Or maybe
it's
just
going
like
to mute.
make it splotchier, so like there is little areas where it's more chrome and more areas where it's like patterned, imperfect. Yeah, I think that looks perfect now.
Okay, and do you still want me to go in with the sparkle as well?
Yeah, maybe on just the accent nails. We'll see.
Because then I'm going to have to do another like thin layer, so I just want to know what the game plan is. Bye, Sade. Thank you for subbing.
See you
Okay.
around.
Right? I'm gonna try to just add this without having to do another layer just so we can top coat it. Because there does come to be a part where it's too bulky. Do you see how it's subtle?
Oh wow.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm so happy with them.
Do you want this on all of them?
No, I think just on the
Just on
accent
the
ones,
accent.
make them a little more special.
Could I have your other accent now? And then I'm gonna put a whole top coat on that. You can just pop that in. Because we did chrome this one already.
Yeah. And then the other, could just get a little,
Like dispersion?
like a little touch of the chrome and make it a little messy.
Not a problem.
And then after that, she spuns, right, in the top coat.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Then we're done. Yeah, so this even stuck nicely to the base, which is nice to know. Actually, those circles might have done us benefit, because once I take that away, that's gonna really give that abalone shell look. So,
The illusion is there.
but I'm gonna have to put a sign on that bottle because I'm gonna have an issue. So I gotta
On
make
that
sure.
base. Good that you found
Yeah,
out.
on that base. Yeah. And thank God we were doing this kind of design where it was forgiving, because that would have been awful. So shiny. Okay, so I'll just be top coating those in a second, and then we'll work on your thumb, but I want to make sure everything's like 90% done. Because we did a lot of steps here to kind of bring this abalone shell to... It was so cute because you looked at the AI picture and you're like, that looks complicated. And I was thinking, well, look at how cool that is. Do you see the circle?
Yeah.
That actually looks
It
so
looks,
cool.
It looks real, like it looks natural because it's not
Ooh.
perfect. It doesn't look like it was, crafted.
That's
These
super
turned out
cool.
really, really good.
Thank you, beautiful.
Of course.
I'm so sorry, baby. I know it's late and you're waiting to go to bed.
I'm sorry too.
I feel so bad. But she knows that this isn't something that can be rushed, like, especially after I just put so much time into this, that'd be pretty shite for me to just rush the ending.
It's been a long process. I have to give a monetary tip and a good meat tip.
That would be lovely. I will appreciate both of those very much. But it's just like if you went to a salon, because of how like detailed and deep the design is, they definitely try to charge you up for yin yang.
Yeah, now I gotta make my Preston toes match somehow.
Right? You're like, how am I gonna make the toes match after all this?
I have a pastel green and pastel purple. I pick one of those and
Okay, so your ring finger's wet because of the little like sparkles that we put on there. And next time we're gonna actually play with actual flakes, which I know you'll love.
okay.
You freak out about this stuff, I know you'll love the flakes. Just pop this in, and then I'll actually do the defining top coat in a moment. I'm gonna go in and do the top coat on all 4 of these, so the only things that we have left are the thumbs.
Okay. Try to get everybody to bed.
Oh, in the house?
Yeah. Well, I think Taryn's still outside.
Oh, do we want to break that up at all, or is that okay?
No, I like.
'Cause that's the
I-
full cover
yeah,
one,
I like-
right?
I like those ones being more precious and sparkly.
Okay, I'm still sorry, baby. Okay, so I have a question. You have a small thin band of chrome here. Is that okay, or do you want me to keep cleansing that on your actual nude part?
It's fine.
Are you sure? I can cleanse it and take that away. You just have to deal with a little bit of like the pain from the alcohol,
Oh,
but I
okay.
can cleanse that area and get it more gone. Don't just say okay because it's late. We're at the last parts, and I don't want something
My
to be.
brain is just so. It looks pretty to me.
It is beautiful. I just like if you don't. I'm so sorry. That's why I said
Yeah.
you just gotta know it's gonna be a little. Okay, so I'll go for the other fingers first, and then.
Did the top coat take away the rings too?
They should, yeah. The only part of the rings you'll see is if chrome has touched it, which kind of gave like a really cool pearlescent abalone
Yeah, I
feel.
don't mind that as long as it's
But
the
we'll just
the
have you look
texture.
at that and just make sure once before we put them in that everything's good, and then hopefully. See how much shinier that is? The top coat that seals everything in.
Brings out the shine.
But that's why I was saying a little bit of shimmer is okay on the nude, but like that was like a pretty line, so
I couldn't tell. I couldn't really see
that's
it.
why I was asking. I'm like, is this okay? Okay, now let me just make sure on your skin and you can cure that. And then we just have thumbs and we're done.
Okay. Did you do these two ones? I didn't even notice.
Which one's the
Middle and
top
next.
coat?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how this is shiny. Okay, just flip it for a moment and then you can pop that in. Thank you for being such a good sport. And then I'll be able to top coat those girls over there.
And then
You can pop that in. Then thumbs and we're all done.
Did we add? Oh yeah, we did.
We did, we added the chrome.
I'm just like so tired at this point. I'm just like can't even remember.
We did, we added chrome to both of them. The fun is there's like a few pops on the natural nail, which is actually really beautiful. That circle is actually super cool because it definitely looks like an abalone. It's like right at the base of your hip aim down.
Claw mode.
Makes you appreciate it a lot once you see everything that goes into it too. Down.
The top coat really did make it like perfect.
Right. Top coat adds all that wonder. And we don't have any issues, no bubbles, no nothing?
bumpy. in
That's
some
probably
areas,
from
but
the... I can also do a light buff to that if you'd like and just do another top coat. If it's anything that's too...
no,
It's also
I
because
can't even really tell. It's
because
just
we
like,
did the layers.
Yeah, I just feel it if I like rub my finger.
If it's
on it.
anything that's like tactilely bothering you, we
No.
can pop it in.
It's smooth. It's not like rigid bumps. It's just like
It's probably because we layered all those
yeah,
foils
all
and
the
everything.
textures. These are the nicest nails I've ever had. So
Really?
I'm not complaining.
Pop that in there. Oh, sorry, turn that first. And then you can pop it in. And we haven't put the chrome. We've done the foil, but we haven't put the chrome on, right? On your thumbs.
No.
They top coated though. Pretty sure, because we wouldn't have this gloss without the top
Okay.
coat.
They're top coated, but not chromed.
You can pop those in, and then we'll work on the thumb.
And then you do glitter.
Yeah,
on
there's
the
no
boots.
way that that would stick if it wasn't top coat or base.
I kind of like that. Could you like keep it off of the nude part and then add glitter to it as well?
Sure can.
So different than the ring fingers, but still its own kind of accent.
Sure can. Everything is customizable, my dear. That's why I was asking you. This set was actually far more complicated than Rita's because we were making your abalone shells like realistic. But it's actually a fun challenge because you showed me those pictures and
She took hers off already?
she works a lot with her hands with
So it's hard.
being a makeup artist, and like when she's trying to put on things like lashes and things, it's very foreign. Oh, also, is the one that you feel a little bump, is that the ring finger? Because that one's going to have the little ridges I made.
It might be, yeah.
If it is, then it's
Yeah.
the little ridges I did with this.
Which I don't mind because it looks so pretty.
Right? Super cool. So whenever you're ready, you can pop that in, and then I'm going to do the same to that thumb. Sorry if I could just have your thumb up.
I'm definitely gonna be like showing off my nails in a even in a non like showing them off way, you know, just like have my hands in certain positions.
That makes me feel so good though, because that means that you love them.
I
Are you
do.
good with the shine, or do you want me to take any of that away? You're good with that? So let's
I
just
like
go in
shine.
with that. Whenever you're ready, you can pop that in, and I'll put a top coat on that girl. And then I'm just going to cleanse your hands, and then we'll take pictures and stuff.
And then oil them up.
Yes, well, we'll oil them up for the pictures.
Oh, I have a feeling it's gonna last a long time too.
That's what I wanted to make sure that these really lasted. I don't want to put this much time into it and not have you love them and have them last. That would just break my heart.
I was able to keep my natural nails this long, so with all the layers
With the strength
and all everything, I feel like I'm not gonna be breaking them anytime.
Good, that makes me happy. Like you feel like you have strong claws. Claude Van Damme. He's seconds. Whenever you're ready, you can prop that in and I'll take your thumb. Do you see how like when you get into a cadence here, it's really nice? That's when things start moving really fast, but it's inevitable. Some of this design is very fappy,
Yeah.
so it takes some time.
I swear next time I won't be asking like complicated design.
No, I want you to ask what
Okay.
you want. I don't want you to just be prepared. It might take some time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna customize and make something perfect like this.
Not every time though. I feel like that's a bit much. Because maybe I do want just simple ones. you know?
Right? Also, once I show you the cat eye, you're probably gonna fall in love with that and just want that.
Like I remember some of my inspiration pictures were just like the little flowers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind doing that at some point, like little spring
Can
flowers.
definitely do some spring flowers. I'll have to practice like hand painting those little guys to make sure that I got them good for you.
It would be even cool is if like I went out and found like little flowers and like
So
dried them
actually,
out.
yeah, I have dried flowers that we can do on your nails, but I have to do like saran wrap to kind of cling it down. You can turn that over, and then once you're ready, you can just pop that in. And then if you can, for me, because this has all been top coated, if you could actually, like, once you put that in, cure both of them for a full 60 seconds, and then go wash your hands.
Okay.
Then I'll go in and fix things, and
The special soap.
yes, with special soap, please. The Dr. Bronner's is the way to go for this kind of stuff. Oh my god, this almost fell. I would have cried. This is like my precious.
Or pride because the product wastage and then also the mess. I
Right?
could imagine how terrifying that would be. Like
This is usually, it's
never
like,
ending.
I think about either 20 or 25 for the pot. So to lose this, I would be very upset. Be like, no, there's so many more nails I could get out of
And then
those.
forever finding crumbs, dust on everything.
On everything.
I think it should be good to bake now.
Yep, so you can put them both in. Yep, put that into bake. And then, oh, did you hit it?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Check it.
Can I have your hand?
I'm just gonna look at it. Oh, did you see?
No, but if you bumped it, I just want to make sure because
I felt the bump on my skin, but I don't know if it hit my nail.
okay. And there was that area once this is completely cured, I wanted to go in and just give a small buff to,
Okay.
but that doesn't change anything. I think that should be good. I am gonna have a well-deserved fresh air after this is all done.
I feel it on that.
And I had my like special appointment healthcare wise. So I'm like, I think I was just running on adrenaline.
For like the majority of it.
For sure. I would have normally tapped out hours ago, but it's like that feeling you're like, nope, can't stop till it's perfect. Cannot stop.
I appreciate it.
Can't stop, won't stop. Of course, honey. Just gonna clean this up so when we do our final shots, it's not just this messy.
So now I'll do both of them.
Yes, please. And then after that, just wash. And then we'll take our final pictures.
Does it make a difference that this one's brighter and that one's dimmer?
No, but I find it very interesting because I've been testing the Madame Glam lamp. This, from even clients' perspective, they say they enjoy this one better, which is interesting. So, which one do you prefer?
I feel like I kind of want to say that one too.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually, so guys, like this is a test between Kiara Sky and Madame Glam, and this is the second client that said that they prefer the Madame Glam lamp. So that's actually really cool information to have.
It did get hot that one time.
Yes, but that's natural
overall,
with
I
it
feel
being-
like it's not as hot, whereas this one, like, certain nails, which I'll just feel it, but it's not hot enough where I'm like, ouch, but
Burning.
it's like, it's hot.
Yes. That's actually really good feedback, sweetheart. I appreciate that.
Now time to wash them.
Yes, please. Give it like a really detailed lather. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I'm sorry that I wasn't too interactive. This was just a really big love project and I wanted to make sure I was doing the best job for her, so I do apologize. And for the people that stayed in for both lives, nearly 6 hours, you guys are goddesses. A lot of the time you see a video sped up and you don't realize everything that goes into it. We had over 4 nail repairs on this as well, so this was a huge project of love. Gonna have to definitely do my brushes later. How did everything wash?
I think good.
Good.
Good lather.
Pardon, honey?
They're so shiny.
They're so shiny. That's what we want. Sorry, I just gotta clean up some of this before I can just go into those pictures. So we got so many things out.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Oh no, honey, you're perfect. I wanted this to be as relaxing as possible. I do know that it was long, so I'm sure your body's hurting a bit, but I hope it was also fun and relaxing for you. You can actually take both of these home
Thank you.
because they're single use, so I wouldn't want to. You can use them as many times as you
Yeah.
want, but I just can't use them on anybody else.
And then maybe next time I'll just bring all the files.
Oh, could I
back.
actually have your, yeah, could I have your file just to make sure if there's any edges there before we do that top coat?
The long one?
I just thought about it. Yes, please. Because there was something with the thumb. Let me just double check if it's, yeah, it's this one. Yep, it was just that small area there.
Something that was attached to the skin.
Mm-hmm. And then,
I want to look over.
and if you find there's any small areas, because I don't want to like brutalize your fingies here, but if you just take this and just make sure, just these small tiny spots, then you'll be perfect. But sometimes like when you're been going over an area, it can be very tender and I don't want to just keep going
Yeah.
over and over
I think the
and
only
over.
tender one is that one, the pinky.
The pinky, right?
Right on the top of the like cuticle area. I think there might be like a cut there or something.
Yeah, there's probably like a little micro. That's why I said to you earlier, I was like, do you definitely have to do the antibiotic
I
polysporin?
didn't feel you do anything that did that. I feel like it might have already been there just because of my day.
Yes.
Oh.
That was so sensitive. I just like, it was because I touched the top.
Um,
I don't even want to touch that area. Just taking some of that excess chrome that's gotten stuck in between your fingies.
to be fair, it is all over your glove though.
Right? It is all over my gloves. But you've even washed your hands and there's still stuff.
Yeah,
Stuck in the crevices.
I might be finding it for a while. Sticking with like glitters.
Finding little bits of glitters.
The thumbs are so pretty.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you like them. Okay, let's see. And that just makes me feel so happy that you said these are your like most elaborate nails that you've gotten.
Oh yeah.
That makes me so happy that I was able to give those to you. I'm actually going to go back in because this seems to be really working to take that little bit away. Hubby's going to be shocked. He's like, I definitely wasn't expecting these. Did you tell him you were getting the abalone?
Yeah, I showed him inspiration pictures.
And what did he say when you showed him the
He
pictures?
said that I better like keep those things like covered up and like, you know, not mess them up and stuff because they're so nice.
Aw, that's a really sweet
Like I'm gonna have to be
comment.
very protective of them and
But you want to
everything.
know what? You saw how everything got sealed.
Yeah.
You don't have to be crazy. Yeah.
I think he's thinking of like when I've done like one or like 2 layers of like a
These
regular-
turned out gorgeous, and there's nothing more exciting than to hear your clients love your work. Oh, thank
Aw.
you, beautiful. There's, I don't know. Let me turn off the light here. You can really see the abalone sparkle and shine. They turned out so pretty. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to kind of move this to the side here and take a few pictures. Right, as I blind you with the light. Okay, so let's see if we can move this girl. It's like you might have to use your workout moment to hold your little hands up.
Same pose as before.
Yeah.
Keep my pinkies in.
You're so cute. I just love the abalone realness. So pretty. And then what I'm going to ask is, you can go like this. Yeah, and then just, yeah. And then, yeah.
I feel like this is a chameleon pose. Chameleon.
You're
Nature
so
head.
cute. And then we'll try this so you can leave one like that. Yep. Perfect.
Instead of straightened.
That's where you can really see that abalone shell realness. The only thing that sucks is no, trying to get the, because the background, there we go, that's a bit better. Oh, Hunter. And then a little higher, yep. Look at this for a second. Ooh.
It looks so
Isn't
nice in
that
the
fun?
picture.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I can't wait to see them in the sunlight too.
Oh, you have to take all of the pictures for me for sure. Yeah, definitely ask for it. I'll just take one more. Try to have you in the center over here. Yeah. It's one of those that like it's a bit at first hard to capture on film, so you're like you want to get those like perfect angles. Oh my gosh, yes. See, you're feeling brand new.
I've never had to pose my hands like this before.
No.
So this is new and fun.
Oh, you've got model hands. Your hands were made for this, Hunter. You're like, as you get the blind outs.
It's for the glue.
Perfect. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. And you guys, oop, the orientation just went all wonky on this thing. But it lasted for the whole time, thank God. Let me just unplug this.
Didn't fall on anyone's head.
Right? I think we're, there we go. If we could just see your nails one last time, honey.
Oh no. It's still outside.
Look at that. So we have a very happy, it's all Madam Glam with a little bit of Born Pretty. Very beautiful. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I was like, where was that when I was taking the video? You're doing all the fancy things now.
The wiggling. Do that.
You're so cute. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you guys so very much for staying for this incredibly late night live. We love you. We'll see you soon. Bye, babes.